Assalamu alaikum. Dr. Asloob,
Yes, sir.
am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Okay, there has been some problem in the typing of this ID in that browser.
Okay.
I am sorry
Okay.
for that. So I came to know at the 11th hour. This has
Okay, sir.
been circulated to all. So I once again request you all that you will kindly just change this in your groups. You inform all in your groups that ID is now a corrected one. Please,
Okay, sir. I will forward. I will just forward.
PG, particularly PG students. I have also informed the speaker also. He too was there in fix,
ठीक, ठीक.
correcting within few minutes. So till then, you may please inform all others. All other students are also requested that they will inform other colleagues so that maximum they are joining over here. We'll be getting our second speaker from USA. So we should be there ready for that. At least it's only 30 participants are there. It doesn't look nice. So let you invite all those colleagues. Professor Sejan has joined us. I request Professor to unmute yourself. Professor Sejan, please.
Good evening.
Yes, yes. Very good evening, sir.
Sorry, I got a bit late because I was in an urgent meeting with director, so I was rushing.
Yes, there was again a problem with our ID also that was there. So we are sorry for that. There has been a change in the ID. There was some, a mistake in the browser itself.
Okay.
So that on our part, we were. I'm sorry for that.
No problem at all. What is there? We are all here to help students.
Yes, that's it's a program for the students.
With me, no problem at all.
We appreciate your gesture. We appreciate your that enthusiasm to have our students placed at high levels. So we appreciate that, and we can. I salute your that passion. We have some 34 participants with us. Maybe we may getting more and more because there was some problem with this ID. So I have told all others that they will try to make them join. And you can, by that time, you can slowly go ahead. Before, is it that you have to share your screen also?
Yes, yes, yes.
Professor? So I will also let you allow to share the screen. That will be okay for you also. So you can now share your screen. There's no issue for that. So may I just introduce our Professor Sejan to our colleagues, to our students. Dr. Asloob, you are there? Well, we have with us this evening Professor Varaswamy Sejan. He's a senior scientist placed in National Institute of Animal Nutrition and Physiology, ICR, Bangalore. So if I can go a brief about his profile, he has done his postdoc from University of Queensland, Australia. He's also a visiting scholar to Carbon Management and Sequestration Center, Ohio State University, USA. He is the man. He has established the concept of multi-citruses impacting livestock. And this is the person, a noble person with 91 research articles in high reputed journals, 36 book chapters, 167 invited and lead papers. And he has in his credit 3 books published by the Springer that will, you will understand that, that they are books of Springer publishing, and they all 3 books are on climate change and livestock production. He is master in citrus physiology and globally known for his work in citrus physiology and climate change. But at the same time, Professor Sejan is very much interested in counseling the students to achieve the heights in their profession, in their future. So it is his enthusiasm and it is his that passion, and we salute him for that. And that's why I invited Professor Sejan in this career counseling session, so that students can get benefited by his words, by his directions or the ideas or other, the way outs. So with this brief, I will request Professor Sejan to take over and just have interaction with our students. Please, Sejan, please.
Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful words. As always, being a senior person, your wishes are always means a lot to me. And it's always been a pleasure talking to the students. So that's the reason that whenever you ask me to do something, because I am here for the next generation, because nothing is going to change. As Professor Pampuri was speaking on my CV, like nothing is going to change, because we have been established already. So like it is the next generation. So like I prefer to concentrate on the next generation, and then leaving them on the safer end before I leave the system. That's how the idea is, and that's how even in my previous talk also you might have seen that what we get to do to the students. Student, I guess that the topic will be very interesting for all of you, because I am trying to cover for you all that as a veterinarian, where you need to go from here, because I am sure that Professor has called all the students who are including the PG, like this is what the topic I've chosen to talk to all of you: veterinary science from research perspectives, opportunities and challenges. So this is how I am orienting my talk. First, I'm going to give an overview on what all the opportunities that are available before you as a veterinary graduates. Like I will give them in detail what you are going to do immediately after completing, what all the opportunities that are available after completing FVSc&AH, and if at all you wanted to do from there higher studies, what all the options that are available, and even in that option, what all the critical decisions you people have to do or you to take in an effort to be establishing yourself as a successful, emerging as a successful student, having an extraordinary career opportunities. So like this is all like little decision making. And most importantly, I just wanted to share my own experience from the research perspectives, like what is my decision, how I evolved myself to this place. That could be the second part. So initially, the opportunities at different stage after you complete UG, after you complete PG, after you complete PhD, what all the opportunities that are available to you. And I will be giving in details even how to go abroad and what all the opportunities available at abroad. For that, also I have a part of discussion on the first line. And the second line is purely from my experience, maybe as a motivational factor for all of you, how a researcher should be, what are the qualities that a researcher should have. So these are all the things I'm going to cover up in the two different aspects. Sir, Pampuri sir. Hello.
Yes, sir.
How much time I have?
You have 1 hour, sir, with you.
Oh, okay, fine, perfect. Yeah, because I was then in the invitation I have seen the another person, so that's the reason I wanted to know exactly how much time is available.
Yes, he will be connecting us at 5:30.
Okay, then I am having an hour, so that is good enough.
Thank
okay.
you.
And this is what the Indian situation for the livestock currently. India, though having only 2% of land area as compared to that of the world, it sustains almost 15% of the world animal population. We are first in the total livestock population in the world, and buffalo population also we are first in the world again. And as far as cattle population is concerned, we are again first in the world with 16% of the world population, and first in total milk production with 188 million ton currently, which is quantifiable around 13% of the world. And in the second in the goat population in the world, and third in the sheep population, and fifth in the total egg production in the world. See, these are all the facts that are available before us. This shows that we have selected BVSc and AH, and these are all the hallmarks to understand ourselves. We have a better job opportunity, because these are all facts which shows us that we have a great future ahead, given the fact because it is going to be maintained or it is going to be improved further only of all these statistics what we are having on the animal population. When the next census will be out in about a year time, so we should be sitting pretty comfortably even to cross all the second, third, fifth position also, because livestock is one of the major component in India, and it contributes enormously to the country's GDP. So it is very, very essential that we need to believe we made a right choice, knowingly or unknowingly, whatever through whichever way it might have happened that we have selected BVSc, and now the stage is set for us where we have to go from here. So these are the statistics which will give us an significance that we have chosen an appropriate field for our future, because as long as these facts are true, and the opportunities are there for us to grab. So this is the career planning ladder I have kept. So like as a student, dear students, you should understand that we are all, I mean, on the first stage now. You are all, that is BVSc and AH, where you are. Somebody maybe even joined as a PG students. So like where we go from here, after completing the BVSc and AH, what are the opportunities that are available? We have veterinary assistant surgeon or veterinary officers. In the livestock farm, we can be a farm manager, and in even industries recruit veterinarians, and even we can go for MBA after completing BVSc, so that we can have a career even at bank level also. This is immediately after the BVSc and AH qualification. And next is the masters. Suppose you don't want to go to job immediately after completing BVSc, then we have to choose masters, that is higher studies. From there, it could be, if after completing masters, it could be either you are on a scientist post, which is the ultimate, or you are in the teaching. If you are interested in the teaching line, it is an assistant professor. If you are interested in the research, it is the scientist post that we need to aim at. And obviously, at some point, we need to also do our doctorate, because masters, you do very limited research. Well, if you are a researcher, the PhD is also must. Even at current scenario that you need to become an assistant professor, you also need the PhD, which means the PhD is very vital now. And from there, you go as a senior scientist or associate professor or principal scientist or professor. And from there, you go as a postdoc. Means after completing, means what is the ultimate, you can even visit abroad for postdoc, or within India also you can do postdoctorate. And this is the goal, a successful professional career you want to have as a BVSc, as a veterinarian. These are the opportunities that are available before us, and this is what I'm going to explain you in the detail step by step. Well, this is the fact that veterinarians are in huge demand. National Agriculture Commission recommends that one veterinary doctor should be there for 4,000 animals. For example, in Andhra Pradesh, has an estimated animal population of 3 crores, but has only 1,750 veterinary doctors, as against the requirement of at least 4,000 trained professionals. See the differences. And this is only a typical example. I have chosen Andhra Pradesh because they rely heavily on the livestock population in Andhra Pradesh. So I have chosen that state. Now you see that there are lucrative opportunities abroad also. Like even after BVSc and AH also, you have very good opportunities at abroad. Countries like America, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and Denmark are opening up gates for Indian veterinary doctors, because they know like what is the course curriculum we follow internationally. Because I've been to US, I've been to Australia for my postdoctorates. I know that how we differ from others, because our course curriculum is really, really strong. So these Western countries are really attracted on our qualities as a veterinarian. So that is the reason we are all in huge demand. Well, this is the scope for veterinary profession. Huge livestock population. I have already given the statistics. Increased demand of quality animal products with the food security point of view. Animal products, Apart from the veterinary colleges, IVRI and NDRI offers the master and PhD programs in different disciplines, that is for the higher studies. And many national and international companies in the field of nutrition, pharmaceuticals, milk, meat processing centers, diagnostics, and for vaccine production have also been coming up. Many NGOs run by animal lovers, animal welfare boards, clubs, and private agencies are also coming for animals' health and are employing the veterinarians. Similarly, zoos, national parks, sanctuaries recruit the veterinarians to take care of their animals. So these are all the, scope, where are all the scopes that are available for us. So I am just listing it out. The changing trend of nearly the costly and pure breed dogs, cats makes this profession highly paid, particularly for the small animal practitioners. Even you also can go for pet clinics. Many new dog clinics, which with the latest facilities, dog training centers, dog beauty parlors, and saloon are opening up every day in the metro cities to cope with the rising demand. And I can say that at Bangalore itself, some of my students itself, they are working on this in the evening as a part-time job. And along with this, there are many more avenues for veterinarians, like in army and private farms, and they can also go for MBA, as I was listing it before. And there are good opportunities abroad for higher studies. The basic requirement are the score of GRE or TOEFL, which is predominantly with the English, so that we are eligible to study in their country, along with a good professional record. Well, what are the 10 top qualities a student of BVSc&AH should possess, or for that matter, even the MUSc or the PhD? So as a veterinarian, these are all the important qualities a veterinarian should possess. That is business acumen, communication skills, compassion and customer service skills, dedication, good manual dexterity, that is nothing but having a grasp on the technical competency, and passion for animals, quick decision making skills, thorough knowledge, and time management skills. So these are all the 10 top qualities of a veterinarian. Well, you should, as a student, dear students, I ask you all, just evaluate yourself how many of these 10 qualities you are having. The more number in the 10, or I prefer that most of you tell that 10 out of 10, that then the success rate is already ensured. This is what you need to do, like business acumen, communication skills, passion, customer service skills, dedication, good manual dexterity, or having a good technical competency on whatever you know, passion for the animals, quick decision making skills, thorough knowledge, and most importantly, the time management skills or the punctuality. What I mean to say here, these are all the qualities a veterinarian should possess in an effort to improve his chances for getting higher success rate. And this is a career planning cycle. First, it is a pre-motivation. I don't know, for whatever reasons you might have selected the BVSc, there should be some pre-motivational factor for that. Not realizing there is a chance or decision to be faced. So as a pre-motivation, you have got a motivation ready and able to face change, because there could be you have inquired with several people, or your own parents have given you that guidance, or some of the other professors you might have come across and they would have given you that motivation to go for the veterinary profession. And then the approach, conscious and effective process for decision making. So like from there, once you got the motivation, then you do a proper approach how to go about it. And then self-awareness, aware of own wants, needs, abilities, etc. That means like if you are self-focused, you know that what you need. So many of the students today, they go for profession selection or career pathway selection based on their own self-awareness, because they wanted to become an engineer, they want to become a doctor, or they want to become a veterinarian, etc., etc. Whatever it is the self-awareness, because that comes with the opportunities also, what you want to be. And then the opportunity awareness, then the student also should know, aware of the valid options, what they involve and require, because you cannot simply for a namesake choose a course and then you at the end of the course you don't have any sort of motivation that what you will be, where you will be heading from here. So this is very important for us to understand that one need to understand that this is an important aspect, that what are the opportunities that are available before choosing. Like now you all cannot change maybe your siblings or your own friends and their sisters or brothers. You have to advise them, like what all that they, when they choose a career, they should know what all the opportunities that are available, and then decide that best option, what is among the various options available for the job opportunity. Then decide and choose the best option, and then implement that option, access opportunities, apply, manage, selection, etc. Or choose the course what you wanted to read, and then they manage the outcome, cope with the success or failure. It could be either way. Like that is what I'm going to explain with my personal experience. Like it could be a success or it could be a failure. But then you should know that it is a process that you need to go through to emerge successful, and then evaluate the process. Like if it is successful, how to become further success, or if it is a failure, how to tackle that issue. And I'm going to explain you all these things through my in the second part of the discussion through my personal communication. Like increasing demand for veterinarians. You see that India has a livestock population of around 535 million, and the commercialization of veterinary industry and food manufacturing companies, pharmaceutical industries, and vaccine production companies flooding the markets. Opportunities for higher education in foreign countries and demand for qualified professionals in developed country is attracting Indian veterinarians. Like it is also important. Like in foreign countries, you should understand that, because now there are huge opportunity available, especially if you are ready to live abroad. Like and which is very common for your state. I know that very well. Like I've seen at Australia, many of the Kashmir is available there, and I used to go outing with them also during my stay for the postdoctorate there. So I know that, and you people wanted to travel even at Bangalore. I know a couple of students even in our institute from the Kashmir, they are working as an SRF. So like that is what it is. Like you are prepared to live, then these are the opportunity to grab. And increasing awareness towards veterinary education by introducing various schemes, national talent scholarship, junior and senior ICR fellowships are there for pursuing higher studies, and internship allowance at higher rate now, and even pay package equivalent to professional of other field. Even like that is what I mean to say, that like even for now the salary packages are even up to in par with even some of the private software companies. So like means we are not dearth of money now when you have chosen and you have got a very good settlement. Even many of our own colleagues who have gone for abroad, they're also coming back just because of the attractiveness of the pay package now currently available for us. And scope for entrepreneur development in diversified areas is on the rise again. Canine and feline practice in cosmopolitan cities, establishment of dairy and poultry industries, and milk and meat processing venture, and establishment of livestock business and marketing, etc. So like these are all the other scopes. If you wanted to be standing on your own leg, you have the motivation to go forward, and you have a support of your parents to get yourself established, and you can also avail the loans from the bank, so that you can also start your own entrepreneurship, so that you establish as a manager. So this is also a possibility. And is it veterinary? Still, like generally we call that in the southern India, the ladies' educations are very limited, and even like in among the education also, the veterinary profession is not chosen by many, because I could see a lot of people of your state also, ladies now studying. So like that is why is it a veterinary schools like river is means my own college where I graduated from Pondicherry, and Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Veterinary Education and Research. Like these are all the girls. I mean they have gone abroad. Under our guidance. So like we have played a role in these people. Like we motivate them to go abroad, and these are the almost all currently. The last one, Shilpa, is currently with me from Germany. She is doing part of her PhD program with me here. So like this is how the collaboration starts building. Like these are all very highly meritorious students from our own college, and I missed many. I just listed whomsoever I know. So like I am sure that there are people in every colleges like that, and there are no gender discrimination as far as veterinary profession is concerned. Now it is equally attractive package for even the girls. And a few employment areas for veterinary graduates after the FVSc&AH, and animal food companies, animal welfare societies, dairy research institutes, government projects, hospitals, pharmaceuticals, research companies, sanctuaries, universities, and veterinary clinics, and zoos and wildlife research. These are all the area where nothing that you need to do. You need to go search in the Google, and then make your CV. Whatever, you may not be having very attractive CV. It all depends on your undergraduation mark. What is the OGPA you secure in the undergraduation? That you mention it in the CV, and pass on this CV through the email. You go to the websites of these. You put it in the same in the Google, and then you just put it in the search and go to to the contact details of that particular company or firm or any universities or anywhere. So like you upload your CV as an email attachment, and if there are openings are there, they themselves would call you back. And also you can also send to some of your seniors or teachers who are willing to help you, and they may also keep your CV in place so that when somebody contacts, so they can pass on your CV. So that's how the job opportunities can be created more. Well, opportunities following undergraduation. Now, career in private sector after FVSc&AH. So this is what you go for a private practice, or private veterinary hospitals are now available throughout the country, and pharmaceutical industries are there, and milk and meat products manufacturing industries, and agribusiness and animal feed recruit professionals, and setting up of pet clinics. And also there are government career after Bachelor of Veterinary Science. Like this is first part is the private sector, and second part is the government sector, that is public sector dairy farms, Department of Animal Husbandry, zoological parks, aviaries and wildlife sanctuaries, veterinary assistant surgeons and veterinary officers in poultry farms, stud farms, livestock farms, pet clinics, and veterinary manager in Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. These are all the opportunities where after the BVSc you are having opportunity both in the private as well as the government sector. The procedure is simple. Notification you have to wait for. You have to keep continuously checking after the BVSc for employment exchange. You have to register, and then you can also keep regularly seeing the employment newspapers. So like you will have an advertisement, or also you go to their websites. Now it is an online portal everywhere, so you go to the website and you see that there will be scrolling of any opportunities that are available. So they'll be giving a deadline for you, and then see to that, and then you submit it with your CV there, and then apply for through proper channel your application you submit, and wait for the interview call. So that's how things works now actually. So like what are the opportunities for veterinary graduates in Indian Army? So there are positions called Remount Veterinary Corps of Indian Army. Maximum age limit for the post is around 21 to 32 years. Candidate should have completed their BVSc and AH degree, and pay scale is very attractive, and also with a very good NPA you get that, and then that is you have a pride of serving the Indian Army as well. So this is a RVC, shortly called as Remount Veterinary Corps. So this is an opportunity for someone of you if you are really interested to serve the army. And opportunities for veterinary graduates in poultry industry. This is a very, very, very important aspect as far as India is concerned, because you know, like we are fifth in the egg production already. So like we are making a greater inroad as far as poultry industries are concerned. So like it will be a very good opportunity oriented jobs are available, particularly after completing the BVSc. In India, poultry rearing evolved over time, just like biotechnology management studies and computer science. Indian poultry sector is advancing with a growth rate of 10 to 15% per annum. Okay, there are different ramifications in poultry sector like nutrition, breeding, housing, hatchery management, health, economic, and product technology. And many new entrepreneurs have started newer species like poultry, like Japanese quail, turkey, ostrich, emu for oil, meat, and leather production. And also there are financial support from NABARD, National Agriculture Bank for Rural Development, rural cooperative banks and nationalized banks like SBI, Bank of Baroda, as well as ICICI, HDFC are providing loan to start up poultry business. Also KVKs, Krishi Vigyan Kendra, which works under Agricultural Extension Division, New Delhi, also prefer poultry postgraduates as training associate or subject matter specialist. So this is also an important aspect. You can also apply for KVKs. And ICR and private institutions working in the field of poultry science. And this is our Indian Veterinary Research Institute, Central Avian Research Institute, Directorate of Poultry Research, Hyderabad, High Security Animal Disease Laboratory, Bhopal, Central Poultry Development Organization, Mumbai, and Central Training Institute for Poultry Production and Management at Bangalore, Poultry Diagnostic Research Center in Pune, and B.V. Rao Institute of Poultry Management and Technology at Pune again. So these are all where you can note it down. I'm going to share these PowerPoints to Professor Pampuri, and he will be sharing it with all of you, I'm sure. Like keep a note of all these things, and then I prepared this making a lot of effort actually. So like you can go into these institutes website, and there will be job opportunities separated. Drop down menu will be there. You click that and then see that if there are opportunities are available, you just keep applying to all these type of positions. And prospects for veterinary graduates in poultry sector, again, India has emerged as the fourth and fifth largest producers of egg and poultry meat respectively in the world. Poultry annual turnover is around 300 billion and provides direct and indirect employment to over 5 million people also. So like this is very important that you should understand the significance of the poultry sector again. And also livestock prospects for veterinary graduates in poultry sector are again, livestock sector is growing at the annual rate of 6.5%, while poultry sector is growing with 15%. It's almost like nearing 2.5 times more than the livestock sector. But the growth of veterinary professional manpower was around 2.55% only. So huge gap in manpower requirement is there. Entire livestock sector 4.5% gap is there, whereas for the poultry sector it is 12.5%. So you can say that among the livestock species, poultry sector have a better job opportunities definitely. So highest employment potential and huge demand for veterinary professional in poultry sector than any other livestock subsectors it is available. So it is very essential. It is very important, dear students, to see poultry as a very good potent future career for all of you. And also there are transformation of poultry farming from backyard to industry scale, and several multinational companies have entered into the poultry market after liberation of trade. In the context of World Trade Organization, food safety and certification of poultry export and imports is gaining momentum. Huge demand for poultry professionals are also available. So this is very important from poultry sector point of view. And there are potential areas for poultry industry jobs also. Avian nutrition and feed technology, because you see that in every state there are feed companies are coming up now for the poultry products processing and quality control, and poultry management, as well as poultry pathology. So these are all very vital pathways available for the poultry industry peoples. I mean, students interested in the poultry sector. And potential poultry companies for employment opportunities in India currently: Sri Venkateshwara Hatcheries, Venkis India Private Limited, Suguna Foods Private Limited, Coimbatore, and Avitech Private Limited, Gurgaon, Altech Private Limited, Bangalore, Alan Sands Private Limited, Mumbai, and Natural Remedies Private Limited at Bangalore. So you can see that these are all the places where a lot of people, even our own juniors, are all been working in these companies, where I have collected some information from them. So like this protocol is one and all the same. Go to their websites and then look for the job opportunities and submit your CV and wait for your turn. Once the openings are there, then they will call you automatically based on your CV. And opportunities for veterinary graduates in private industry. Now we can broadly classify this into two aspects: private industry, production side, farm production, feed production. For example, Suguna, Venkis, or multinational companies like CPF, Cargill, Jaffa. These are all some of the examples I'm listing here. And there are pharmaceutical and biological companies are also there. A big list of domestic and multinational operations are there: Pfizer, Himalayas, Ventri Biologicals, Intravert, Globion, Probimi, and Godrajan, and Biomin, Novus, Novartis, and there are some of the pharmaceutical companies I have listed. There are again many veterinarians are being placed and recruited. And also you can study MBA. A MBA along with BVSc and AH will provide the candidate better opportunity in different industries at managerial grade. So some people can deviate after the BVSc to go for MBA, which you are having a business aptitude. So this is very vital for that. And then opportunities are veterinary graduates in industry. Again, there are number of opportunities in NGOs, like societies working for the animal welfare of the animals and livestock owners, like by Bharati Agro Industrial Federation at Pune, and Help in Suffering, and League of Pastoral People, and People for Ethical Treatment of Animal, and Livestock Inspectors. So these are all the options that are available before us, and then so that we can also look into these websites to get some job opportunities created. And also veterinarians working in pharmaceutical and biomedical research firms develop, test, and supervise the production of drugs, chemicals, and biological products. Particularly if you are placed in a pharmaceutical industry, these are the job requirements. These vets usually have the specialized training in pharmacology, virology, bacteriology, pathology, parasitology, toxicology, nutrition, endocrinology, or laboratory animal medicine. Veterinarians are also employed in management, technical sales and services, and marketing in agribusiness, pet food companies, and pharmaceutical companies. And then also scope for BVS and AH candidates in other sector, career as a technical officers or agriculture officers in bank, If you wanted to have a career in the bank, there are opportunities available, better job opportunities, public relation jobs, and you will be a liaising officer between the bank and the persons who are taking the loan, and opportunity to change the field from specialization to general bank. And also MBA in agri-business management. If you are holding a degree in MBA in agri-business management, huge scope for job opportunities, changing world scenario for agri-marketing, entry of global leaders in retail, especially for agri-produce, and opportunities to change the field of specialization also after the FVSc&AH. Indian Forest Service, this is another important aspect if you are having a very good career ambition as an administrator. So like Indian Forest Service is there for, and for a veterinarian, it is a cakewalk for veterinarian. They sincerely worked for 1 to 2 years. Even during, there are people at IVR and NDRI, they prepare specifically for this even during their master's program itself, or even at our colleges also people try to prepare for these exams when they are pursuing their bachelor's degree itself. Subject selection, veterinary science and zoology, and compatible subjects with a lot of overlapping context and great career opportunity as a bureaucrat. It's also like I already told that if you wanted to be an administrator, and these are all the opportunities whatever I've discussed until now are after FVSc&AH. So like you wanted to go for a private industry, you do want to go for a government sector, you want to go for NGO, or you want to go for a pharmaceutical company, and most importantly poultry sector have a huge scope. These are all the things you can look into immediately. You are in the final year, you have to start looking for, because it is not that every degree before you complete you should plan for the what is next. So it's like at some point you will be kicked out after completing the degree. A good student or a productive student should be the one who should always look in the final year. When you join the 5th year semester, you register for the 5th year, you should be very productive, looking into that how you wanted to go forward, where you wanted to head in your career. So this is very vital for that reason. And there are you wanted to choose from here higher studies. For example, after the FVSc&AH, if you wanted to choose higher studies, this is what it is. Like, what are the scopes? Excellent career opportunities are available, settlement with the good pay packages, excellent opportunities to shine as a researcher, to emerge as a best teacher, to nurture young brains, and to get recognition internationally. So like if you wanted to dream about having a very good recognition internationally, and you have to choose higher studies and then go for it. Okay, and the typical example of it, and I will prove you through my accomplishments in the later part of the discussion. Well, this is what, when you choose higher studies, it's obviously like you cannot stress your parents anymore, because you should support yourself. That is the self-motivated student will do immediately. So ICR as a junior research fellowships for pursuing MUSc degree, it is like 7,500 rupees per month, the stipend available. So that's good enough. Like even you can save for your future activities, you can plan, you have to apply for abroad, you wanted to apply for other multinational companies, means you need money. So like it is a very good opportunity if you read properly and you take the All India entrance exam, and the number of fellowships that are available, so you grab one, and then you are even there are talks now in next couple of months it will be increased to 15,000 per month. For a PhD it is almost 28,000 currently, like for the 3rd year, and 25,000 per month. It's like a job in a private sector what you'll be getting now today. So this is what senior research fellowships for pursuing the PhD degree. If you are a master student sitting there, and you should know that there are opportunities available even for pursuing through ICR the PhD program with SRF or JRF, which is 25,000 rupees per month. So this is a motivational factor. For that you need to start very early your preparation. You cannot do it just like for the namesake of application, because the selection criteria is very difficult. You need to spot on to clear the All India entrance test, and you will be having to go for a counseling. So there you need to have a very productive decision of which subject you will be choosing. So it's like like when the career you have decided as the research, and that has to be starting from the 3rd year, because you need to prepare very well for this competitive exam, because it could be for anyone to take. Like if you hit the bullseye, then you are getting with a scholarship. You don't stress the parents, because no students want to stress the parents, because already 5 years they are supporting us, and it's very vital that we need to stand on our own leg from the masters onwards. So your preparation should start from the 3rd year onwards for this reason. And these are the subjects that are available for the MVSc. Animal biotechnology is a separate category, and then veterinary science like anatomy, histology, gynecology, medicine, parasitology, pharmacology, toxicology, pathology, epidemiology, veterinary microbiology, veterinary surgery, and public health. These are all falls under the category of veterinary science. And in the animal science, animal husbandry extension, animal genetics and breeding, animal nutrition, animal physiology, livestock production management, livestock product technology, poultry science, and biostatistics. All these comes under the animal science category if you wanted to take a career. So it depends on your interest, it depends on your job opportunities, it depends on your somebody don't wanted to leave the state, so you should look the local condition, what could be the best option that may be used to. Just like that, don't select a subject that just because you like only. So like you should look for the future, whether it will give you. So discuss with some sort of professor who are very good at career guidance, and then take their opinion, what they foresee from here on 10 years down the line, what will be the opportunities that may be available for the subjects you are choosing. So this is very vital, because just because don't do a master's degree because you are interested in, which may not be yielding you a rich dividend in the long run. So it has to be primarily job oriented, and it should have equal weightage. I mean, it should have opportunities equally from the private sector as well as the government sector, and you should choose a subject like that so that your success rate will be more as far as getting a job. Why we study? It is not like for the name and fame we study for a job. So it should be job oriented. So it's very vital that you all should keep this in mind before you choose a subject. Well, temporary opportunities after completing MVSc, master's degree, teaching assistants, senior research fellows, research associates, and subject matter specialists. Like teaching assistant, for example, several government universities, agricultural universities, they appoint the teaching assistants on a temporary basis, because they are nothing like assistant professors, but without a permanent grade. This is all available, so you can apply and then attend the interview and you will be selected. And senior research fellows, but particularly there are a lot of projects that are available, so several projects will be there. So as a senior research fellow, you can join any project, and then you can as a senior research fellow, you can serve for 3 years. Usually the projects are for 3 to 5 years. So even as a productive student, you can also choose a place where to be a senior research fellow, so that you also can register for a PhD in that institute, so that along with that project work, you can also carry out your PhD work as well. That will be two types of benefit in that. And then there are research associates, which is with the PhD qualification usually given, and there are a lot of subject matter specialists appointed for various pharmaceutical companies and stud farms, or many livestock farms they appoint, and even the KVKs they appoint a subject matter specialists. So these are all the temporary opportunities. Permanent opportunities are assistant professor, lecturer in specialized subjects, and agricultural research service, that is scientist post, what I am currently, and defense research and development organization also as scientist. And there are Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSR Institute, where they offer scientist posts quite regularly. And there are research and development organizations where they are also giving scientist posts, and NDDB, National Dairy Development Board, also has scientist positions available with them. So these are all the opportunities. If you are a very good orator, or your verbal communications are good, and you feel that you have a better career in the assistant professor, you should choose that. And if your research aptitudes are very good, you choose as a researcher, so then you select for a scientist post. It's one and all the same. So like these are the agriculture service, ARS, ICR scientists. So like you can see that I've just given that first page of that, what all the positions that are available in various ICR institutes. If you wanted to join as ICR scientist, which is the predominant opportunity, which is the ultimate opportunity for a veterinarian in India. So like you can choose that where are the positions that are available, and you need to attempt an examination for that, and then there it will be followed by the interview. Choosing subjects for matters, master's degree. Like again, choosing subject for master, how to choose the subject for master. I explained in nutshell in the previous slides itself. Just to go into the depth, subject of interest. Well, I would definitely don't go with this option, like subject of interest, because it is not the question that what is that masters you do. It should be of your interest. Well, I agree that you have a better understanding, but then what is that? For example, if you like a subject, you have chosen that, and you are studying for 2 long years, and then after completing, you are sitting idle at home without any job opportunities. So this is very vital. Like keep aside the interest, look for the job opportunities, vacancies in the present scenario. This is another crucial point to keep in mind. How much of the vacancies are there? So today it may be good, down the line 10 years all the posts are getting saturated, and what you will do choosing a particular subject. So you should know before you choose an higher study subject, you should know where are the vacancies that are available and future perspectives as well. See, it should remain stable for relatively 10 long year, because you will definitely take at least 5 years, 2 years of MSc and 3 years of PhD, maybe a research associate or teaching assistant or something like that, and then you take an opportunity. Like, what I mean to say here is that even if you plan properly, there no need have to be any break at all, because that's where the hard work comes into the picture. If you are systematic and you are very punctual and you are very organized and you are very focused about your goals, and I am sure that there is no need have to wait even for 6 months, so you can get the opportunities done by the time you complete a course. And then the scope for balanced teaching and research opportunities, you should always select a subject which has both teaching as well as research opportunities, so that your chance of settlement will be better. Then targeting subjects being equally scoped in the government as well as private sector. This I've already explained, because you should keep all the options wide open. By the time you come to the end of your study career, you should know where is going to be my best settlement. So these are the points that should be kept in mind before choosing an higher studies subject. And fellowships for veterinarians to pursue higher studies: ICR Award Junior Research Fellowships and BV Rao Poultry Research Foundation Awards, Padma Shri BV Rao Research Grants for poultry postgraduates and PhD scholars annually. And ICMR offers JRF and SRF for pursuing masters and PhD program. Many veterinarians avail this, and CSIR also offers many such JRF and SRF positions for pursuing masters and PhD program. Even I know that in IVR also few students who are highly meritorious, they take this type of scholarship to pursue their PhD or master's program. And Defense Research and Development Organization also supports postgraduates in various capacities to strengthen their research wing. Many state agricultural universities also open for postgraduate fellowship program, and ICR International Fellowship is also available for pursuing PhD after 2 years of MSc lab acceptance and proposed projects. What you need is that you should have a MSc degree, and you should have a lab contacted abroad, and the mentor whom you are choosing should give you an acceptance letter that he is willing to supervise you, provided you get that international scholarship. And it is very high package, I tell you that. And then proposed projects also, you should have developed a project discussing with the mentor, and then that should be also taken into consideration for the meritorious list preparation. That project proposal also carries a huge weightage. And when you choose a project, you should know what could be the practical applicability possible for an Indian scenario. And the All India Competitive Exam by Indian Veterinary Research Institute offers senior research fellowships for PhD program, as well as the National Dairy Research Institute NDRI also offers such a scholarship. So you can also avail this scholarship to pursue your higher studies. And these are all the student travel grant for attending conferences. Now, students, I tell you that the opportunities are wide open now. Like you need to be very focused, and your settlement could be very, very high, because DBT and Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, Center for Scientific and Industrial Research, Government of India, and Indian National Science Academy, Government of India, and Sir Ratan Tata Trust also gives lot of travel grants. What you need to do is that you should submit an abstract for any conference abroad, and if your abstract gets accepted, then you submit that along with for the grant with these funding bodies I have listed, and you can go and present. That's how you develop your network. That's how you develop your network for future, because in the masters you should do this, and there are opportunities available. And then also we can also guide you for preparation of the applications for that. And then you go and then build your network, contact the professors, because it's always through the, rather than an internet, in-person contact is always better. You have ample amount of time after the presentation, you discuss with them what are the opportunities that are available. They will tell you what is the requirement for their university, and then you can apply to them for higher studies. And career abroad. Well, coming to the I have completed up to India what is higher studies impact, and now going for abroad. MS program, you can go after the BVSc itself, and integrated PhD that comprises of both your masters and PhD, and doctorate program specifically for PhD, and postdoctoral fellowships after you complete PhD in India, and pharmaceutical firms, pet food manufacturing firms, You can also become scientist, research scientist abroad, and you can also become assistant professors abroad, and you can also become veterinary practitioners. In Navale is a veterinary level education, North American veterinary level education. So like you can also prepare for this, and if you are clearing after the BVSc, you can go and serve as a veterinarian in America. So these are all some of the opportunities for going career abroad. If you are dreaming about these are all the opportunities that are available. Now, how to choose a vet school abroad? If you wanted to choose a career abroad, location and cost of living, resource person potential, whom you are choosing as a mentor, their potential you should choose, because you cannot choose somebody who have not been progressed very well. And then you have to also know that faculty number and contribution, and then the laboratory facilities that are available with them, because when you go abroad you have to do very high quality research or path breaking research. So for that you need to choose a veterinary school where there are much better facilities, and progress of students from the laboratory, and publication standard of lab, and amount of scholarship, tuition fee waiver, scope for part-time jobs within the university, because you can go and you should have the tuition fee waiver, otherwise your scholarship usually covers that. If you don't have a tuition fee covering, then you should have a part-time job, so that you are not under much stress there. Mostly now opportunities are very huge, and there are careeropportunities.com, and there are also scholarships.coms are available, which you can have it with me through the email contact, and then you can keep keeping the alert, and every university in the world are participating in this. When there are openings are there, you will get it in your desktop, the notifications from time to time where the opportunities are available. So like please avail this, because the scopes are huge for going abroad. And these are the list of websites for job search, and I just did a lot of exercise to search these for job search in the websites, and also in the YouTube also there are vet careers, and to be a vet also there are websites in the YouTube, so you can go and pursue, and there will be very clear cut guidance for you how to search job online. And also research as a career. And now I've completed what all the opportunities that are available after the BVSc, after the MUSc, and after the PhD, and the postdoctorate, and what is that career abroad also. And these are the your pathway, career pathway. Well, I mean, I'm leaving it here for you to decide what you wanted to do. You wanted to join a job immediately after the BVSc and AH, or you wanted to go on to pursue the higher studies and go for a very better settlement like us, and the choice is before you, sir. But then you should know where you are heading, and it's high time. If you are a final year student, 5th year especially, and if you are choosing an higher studies as a career option, then the preparation should start from the 3rd year. Sometime some amount of time has to be spent in the weekend to achieve this goal, if you wanted to dreaming higher. Because why you have to make offered attempts? You should make a very good attempt, so that you have to go. Like research as a career, my own experience, I'm going to address to you what is that which has made me to come to this position to talk to you like this today. Criteria for a good researcher: high ambition, like be very highly ambitious, like, and then passion for science, and ability to work in a team, because it's a research is a team effort, and you should have that ability. Aptitude to disseminate knowledge, and you should be feeling happy that you generate some new knowledge and you are disseminating to the followers to uplift the animal kingdom. And then hunger for recognition, because you should crave for recognition, and then urge to find solution to existing problems for sustaining the livestock production. And then interest in patenting a technology. Suppose you identified a novel technology which has applicability in the field, then you can patent it, so you can have the patent right for the technology in your name. And then willingness to collaborate internationally. This is most important, like you should have ambition to also to collaborate internationally. This is all very, very, very vital. And my own career pathway, you can see that I made a statement that if you are highly focused, like you can get all the things without wasting anything. You can see that FVSc&AH I completed in August 2001 at Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Veterinary Education and Research, and I had begun to prepare that exam for All India entrance for the MUSc program, ICR exam. And you can see that August 2001 I completed, and in November 2003 I joined a master's program at West Bengal University of Animal and Fishery Sciences with the ICR scholarship. And again you see that November 2003, and I have joined the PhD in the 2003 itself in the month of December, and then I completed in December 2006 3 years PhD at Indian Veterinary Research Institute with the Senior Research Fellowship. And you can see that December 2006, I completed my PhD and I joined as scientist in ICR in January 2007. Like you see that almost like I can say in terms of days, 18 days were the separation when I got my degree at IVRA and I joined as a scientist. And postdoctorate I did in April 2010, first postdoctorate at Ohio State University, USA. And I got promoted as a senior scientist in June 2012. And in fact, Pampuri Saab knows that last 2 days back, I had my principal scientist interview, which is due from 2018. So like it's all like appropriate focus. And again, in between, I did my second postdoctorate at University of Queensland, Australia. Well, that USA and Australia are the high point for any researcher to be. And you can see that I have not left even a 6 month of gap in my professional career. That didn't happen overnight, because you need systematic planning and execution, and you need to have a lot of sacrifices need to be made if you wanted to have a good successful career. This is what it is, the aim is. So this, you should understand that. And also I must say, you dear students, like there may be a lot of average students sitting there, because I never forget the past. I tell you, my OGPA in the BVSc is 6.7. Like when I was putting my application for the masters for the ICR, many people, including my own batchmates and my teachers, criticized my decision, like you should have gone for a private job, because I'm having a mere 6.7 OGPA. Like, don't get carried over by the distractors, because though you need such type of energy, because they only will bring the best out of us. Like I was like very average, because I'm a sports person, I'm the college sports secretary, I've been very much involved, because I just scraped through with the minimum pass mark and highly unfocused, like many of you would be, because there were no much guidance for me. So until BVSc, my 6.7 OGPA. In the masters, I have an OGPA of 9.1. Okay, so like I tell you that I failed 1 year, because I completed my BVSc in the year 2001. I should have completed in 2000, because here GET system is there at Pondicherry. I got 1 year failed in my BVSc. Will you believe that where I currently stand today? Like so that's the reason I tell you that even there are average students sitting over there. Today you decide that you wanted to win a race, you can win a race quite comfortably, and you will be surprised to know that what is the subject I have chosen. You know, like what I failed in physiology. And where Pampuri Saab is taking physiology now, inviting me for this lecture, and I got failed in physiology, and I've chosen my master's in the physiology at West Bengal University. And I did, you see, at IVRI, my PhD in veterinary physiology, and you see, I have joined as scientist as CSWRI, and now currently working as senior scientist, and I have become already the principal scientist. 2 days back, my interview got over. So you can see that nothing has stopped me. I have just chosen physiology because I was advised that there are a lot of job opportunities are available. I am the typical example for that. Even you given 100 out of 100% chance, no one will choose a subject for higher studies in physiology because I failed in that. So that should not be the criteria, because masters are always easy and the PhDs are always easy, because we are narrowing down the subject and studying. That what I mean to say from this is that like nothing is too late. Today you decide that I wanted to be a successful person in my life, and you can become when you are having the determination. Well, from the 6.7 to 9.1 to improve that, only I know what is the dedication and devotion and the sacrifices that I have made as comparison to that of my fellow colleagues. They'll be sitting idle and they'll be enjoying, and you know, like Calcutta is a very good place for enjoyment. So like etc. etc. Like it's highly focused, keeping the focus on, see, when I joined my master's degree, and I don't want to go as an assistant professor. I got an assistant professor at my own college at Pondicherry, where they criticized my decision of taking a physiology because I failed, and they criticized my decision of choosing physiology as my master's program. But I had an opportunity to come and join as an assistant professor, but I did not, because I worked hard during my MUSc itself for the PhD entrance of IVRI, and then I got cleared that entrance, and then I pursued with the senior research fellowship my PhD. Okay, so in between two assistant professors I got at Bidar Veterinary College and the Central Agriculture University Imphal, and I resigned that job because that is not to my liking. I just wanted to do it for the sake of attending, and also to be surprising that I also got DRDO scientist post, but then I was posted at Ladakh. So I thought like I wanted to be an ICR scientist, because that is my area of specialization. I wanted to do something for the animals. So I thought ICR being in the parental organization is very important. And you can see since 2001, hardly 3-month gap is there in my research career. That's how I placed my innings. So that requires extreme focus and dedication. That's what I wanted to say. Certainly an average student cannot overnight can be done like that. It needs a lot of dedication. Well, for a brilliant student, they all might be already focused, but for the average student I'm addressing here, you should choose and dedicate time, because to compensate for all the losses that has already happened, you need to work more with eye focus. And you can see that this is during my postdoctorate at Ohio State University, USA, and this is my second postdoctorate at University of Queensland, Australia, in 2015. And you can see that where these are the top class universities of the world, where highly meritorious Australian government funding I got there, and then did some wonders. And this is a research accomplishment. I've already explained in the last lecture. I'm not going into the detail, just to show that I'm first in the world to achieve this as a researcher, establishing the concept of multiple stresses in the livestock and the extensive system of rearing. And then you can see the quantum of publication. It has given worldwide recognition for me. And this is another laurel in my life, that I have been bestowed with the Lal Bahadur Shastri Outstanding Young Scientist Award in 2012 by Indian Council of Agriculture Research. Ultimate as an individual achievement in an organization. You can see that what has dented me. From 6.7, I have gone 5,500 scientists are there in ICR, and I have been chosen as the best in 2012. So like you can understand from what is the level of dedication it should have been. It's a very proud moment for me. And this is another researchable issue. I have established that genotype differences based agroecological zone specific breed identification. I'm not going into the details, just to show that how much I have progressed in the world, because this concept have been accepted cutting across the publishers. Like you can see that almost some of the top publications in the world I've got through by establishing this concept. This is to motivate you as a researcher what you could achieve in your life. And then this is the most pleasant memory of my life, that I have been selected as one of the top 10 scientists in India in the year 2018. Like you can see that it is a prestigious moment. Even this is chosen by the government itself, not by applications or something like that, because it's based on your H-index as a researcher, and it is based on your publications and the number of publication reads and the number of publications cited. Based on the citation index as well. So it's a proud moment that you do your best, the rest God will do. And this is another concept I developed, a different biological marker for assessing thermotolerance. And again, it's a very novel finding, first of its kind in the world. And you can see that the quantum of publication again, to show that you have to be research focused and highly productivity should be there. And you can see my international impact for my age. What I'm having is, it's almost double than many of the even directors of ICR. Like at this stage I'm having. So this is what, because I had the extreme focus to establish myself as a researcher, because I have never turned back after my FVSc. That is the reason that I made all these inroads. And you can see ResearchGate, any ResearchGate score of more than 30 should fall on top 10% of researcher category in the world. Okay, my research score is 35.5, and I'm leaving it to you to see, like my Australian mentor as well as my other colleagues at Australia, they're having a total publication read of around 66,000, the closest by one of my mentor at Australia. And you can see my my score there, 132,000 already. So like that's what, because we do research which attracts researchers across the globe. That's where you grow as an individual. And you can see that these are my publication standard. Already Dr. Pampuri has clearly defined. You can see that H-index of 28. For my age, it should have been somewhere 15. If you can consider it as an extremely good score, but I'm having a score of 28. And then my height and index is 74, and total citation is almost 2,750. And my ResearchGate score is 35.5. My total publication read now is 1,40,000. Like I have trained training, I have conducted 14, and I mentored students 14, and in that almost 5 students are studying PhD abroad. And I have supervised postdoctorate researcher too, and handled 12 projects also. You can see these are various laurels I take. And then you can see that I have been invited by the French government last year to deliver a keynote address, one of the proud moment again. So like to 800 odd international experts, and the recognitions kept pouring after delivering this talk, because we should prove to the world that we are not inferior. I go abroad not to follow them. I go abroad to tell them they should follow me. This is the attitude I keep, because I firmly believe we are the best in the world. Being Indians, we are very hardworking, and we should never follow an international expert. They should be made to follow us. That is what the motto I teach to my students, because we are capable of much better than them, because we have the immense potential for arting abilities. And this is one of the proud moment, because this is the keynote address. And what is the keynote address? You know, like you have been selected as the best in the world. That's why you are called as a keynote speaker. So that is what happened last year. And this year I'm scheduled to leave to Hungary, Brazil, as well as Australia. But unfortunately, due to COVID pandemic, all the conferences are postponed to next year. Hopefully, ambition will be fulfilled, because that's where when you go and deliver a high quality lecture, 800 odd international experts have seen here, and the recognitions have started pouring now. Everybody are inviting. It is that. And a dream come true with my perseverance. I just established this Center for Climate Resilient Animal Adaptation Studies, recently inaugurated by the Honorable Director General ICR, and it is an excellent climate chamber facility. Even I can say best of its kind in the world. So like this is what the focus is all about: keeping the focus and going for the kill. This is what I kept on going, and I can proudly say I'm one of the best in the world. And these are the new climate chamber facilities we have installed at NINP, which is the first of its kind in world, and some advanced quality research has already been in place. And also recently I've got an Indo-Australia project where we have organized a workshop where we trained all the, you can see the participants, almost all the youngsters only I generally choose with my collaborative Australian mentors, Australia-India workshop, and it has to be reciprocated in the December. We are not again sure of that happening due to COVID pandemic, and we have to see that how we have moved from here. And also recently I've got an Indo-French project, and also yesterday I've got a NICRA, National Initiative for Climate Resilience in Agriculture, funded by ICR for 3 crore project. And most happy to share that this is the publication from the FAO Feedipedia. They choose the best researcher in the world, and they ask us to contribute, and I have been selected in the year 2016 to contribute this chapter. So this is again a proud moment, because it's a recognition for the hard work that we are selected as the best. And then this is the keynote address, international collaborative efforts. You see that I have been collaborating with many people now. This is a paper which has come with Nicola Lastera from Italy, Frank Denchi and John Gaugan from Australia. So this is all the opportunities. And then you can see that, will you believe that a person who failed in physiology is the first in the world to publish 3 international books in physiology. So like 3 international books published in my research area. And it's again a proud moment to say that even a person of my caliber could come to this level to prove you that nothing is too late. And even today, I urge all of you to give 10 minutes on whatever I have spoken. And I'm sure that all of you will be on the track from the tomorrow where you wanted to head towards in your career. That's what the last slide says. Do not give up. The beginning is always the hardest. Once we have begun, and I'm sure that we will end very, very, very successfully. So these are my accomplishment to show even an average student can be sounding extraordinary if you are having the sheer determination, self-motivation, and then the perseverance for the hard work, and then never die attitude. And always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than anything else, told by great Abraham Lincoln. And Winston Churchill have told that success is the ability to go from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thanks, Dr. Professor Sejan. I am very grateful to you, sir, for your detailed, the suggestions for the UG students, well, from their career starting from BVSc, then going through MVSc or PhD, or you can have the opportunities. You have detailedly spelled out the opportunities which our students after BVSc they have, or after completing their MVSc or PhD. So those opportunities, and then qualities about the veterinarians, the qualities, top 10 qualities you have mentioned there. Really, this is really nice to hear from you all these details, and many other pharmaceutical companies, the opportunities in the private sector as well as in the government sector. Then again, many of those opportunities which students can avail from getting the scholarships from those companies or those institutes. You have listed all those, and then you have also given the, the links to many of those sites where they can find the jobs for them. And ultimately, I think in the last you have really given your, that motivation to our students. You have really given that motivation to our students, that how you have succeeded in your career. This was really nice to note that you have failed in physiology and then you excel in physiology. Okay, and you have a recognition, worldwide recognition in the citrus physiology. So this nice to note here. Definitely, I agree with you that do not give up. In the beginning is always the hardest. Our students, they should not give up. That's there. You try, and again you will succeed. Definitely, you will succeed. And if you have the patience, you have that dedication, and then you have that motivation, nobody is going to just stop you from attaining your heights, your goals, and your dreams come true. I'm, sir, I don't have words to express my gratitude to you. So I will call my colleague over here. He is the associate director research. He is also the chairman of counseling, students counseling cell. He is the master there in the counseling. So I will just request humbly to Professor Azmat Alam Khan to have a few words, and then I will also ask the students if they have some queries from the speaker. They can raise the hands, and then Professor Azmat, please.
Thank you, Professor Pampuri. I also do not find many words to thank Dr. Sajan. I have personally met Dr. Sajan way back in 2012 or 13 when I went to NI and pay to his institute for some training, 10 days short course was, and we had a lecture from him on those green methane and global warming, how animals contribute. Yeah, it was his lecture. I could see that spark, what Dr. Sajan himself was talking. I could see that spark there when his lecture happened to be the most different lecture. It was वो हम हिंदी में कहते हैं ना हटके. It was that different lecture what we got, and he gave some formulas and some methods wherefrom we can calculate that greenhouse warming potential or something like that he gave. So those things apart, thank you, Dr. Sajan, for sparing the time and for this detailed and comprehensive lecture which covered all the aspects from BVSC. If somebody stops at BVSC and then wants to earn, you have shown the way, and if somebody proceeds ahead, then all the you have placed the cafeteria of opportunities before our students. And it is now main thing is, as you have rightly said, it is the resolve of a student. But if you resolve, you can achieve anything. So once a student completes his graduation, this is first aspect. We recently, one of our batches has completed, they had that their graduation ceremony yesterday or day before yesterday. So it is one step, one milestone they have covered. It is for them to weigh all the options and look for and then make a resolve that yes, I want to achieve this thing, and there are opportunities are everywhere. uh, there are ones who want a person, if he wants to achieve, he can definitely achieve, and there is no dearth of opportunities in, particularly if we talk of veterinary and animal sciences. It is I have make a tagline like veterinary and animal sciences opportunities unlimited.
Thank you so much, sir, for those nice words. Like it always means seniors like you come and appreciate the junior. That's where the baton need to be handed over. So I'm equally elated here to sitting here and talking with the students, and I'm sure that a few of them will definitely change, having seen through whatever I have gone through in my life and then come to this position. I'm sure that I'm going to motivate. I only urge the students tonight to give 10%, 10 minutes of their time to get separated them from their friends and then stay alone and think whatever I have spoken today. And I'm sure that they get up with a new focus tomorrow, and then they will definitely start working on that. Also, I assure you, sir, that Pampuri sir, that I will make a PDF of this PowerPoint presentation, so that I wish that it has to be circulated to all the students, that so that it's not that they might have not grasped many things in the 1 hour lecture. So I would prefer that that has to be kept even with the career supervisor there, what professor now spoken, that you also can keep your copy with him, so that he can also disseminate such a thing to with the students. I'll be
Yes,
very
yes,
happy to prepare to take some
I agree with
questions.
I agree with that. Totally agree with that. We will get that and we will circulate among the students, and we will have with this counseling, career counseling cell, that presentation of yours. I'm highly thankful to you, sir. Very, very thanks, sir. We'll be getting you more and more again and again. At the same time, we are humbled here to have with us now our other speaker has joined us from USA.
Okay.
Directly from the USA, Dr. Muzaffar Makhdoumi has joined us. Welcome, Dr. Muzaffar. I am really delighted to see you over here. Can you hear me, please? Makhdoumi?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Oh,
Yes,
good.
sir.
Good to see you, sir. Good to
Good
see you.
afternoon. Yeah,
We
let me
are
turn.
really obliged here, and we are very thankful to you. You have spared your precious time. What's the time this time at your place?
It's approximately 7 a.m. So I was listening to the previous speaker's talk. Very nice conversation and discussion. Excellent
Oh,
opportunities.
oh, nice, nice.
Yes.
So our
Thank you, Dr.
students must
Muzaffar.
bear in mind that a person from USA is talking at morning 7 when we are already after 9 in our beds. So he is for us. See his dedication. May say he has patience. So he has spared a time in the morning with us from USA. He is directly connecting with us, with our students. I think this is the good opportunity for our students to grasp something, to just imbibe something from these speakers and do good for the society, good for the animals, the animal kingdom. That's why we are trying to benefit our students. We try to get the speakers, we try to get the persons which have the motivation power and which have achieved something in their career, so that they become an inspiration, they become, say, ideals for our students at Kashmir. That's our motto over here. So one of our speaker, Sejan, has given a nice talk. Now we'll be happy to listen our Dr. Makhdoumi, the son of the soil. He is from this, yes, and also graduated, even post-graduated from our college. He has been our student, and we are proud of him because, see, teacher is always proud of his students. That's there, sir. So I just humbly request our speaker, Muzaffar Makhdoumi, say if I will have a brief about him. Dr. Makhdoumi, that graduated from our SKUAST and then post-graduated in microbiology. Then he had some work on foot rot vaccine. Then he did his PhD in biological sciences from University of Warwick, United Kingdom. Then he did, see, very interesting. He did additional masters in preventive veterinary medicine at University of California, Davis. This is something our students must bear in mind, and they must get, impressed by all these things. Say additional masters there. Then at present, he is a regional director. I'm really proud of him. He has elevated to this such a position, in the administrative position in this United States of America. He is a regional director of the Texas Animal Health Commission, USA. So see his journey from BVSC to this post in USA. It will be very interesting to note, and it will be very interesting to listen from him. and it can be a guideline, it can be a ladder for you people to achieve heights in your profession, in your future. So I will request Muzaffar, you want to share your screen?
Yes, sir. So
So
that's
you
what
can,
I'm trying to do.
you can,
That's
you
what
can,
I'm.
you can do it. You can do it. There's no issue at all.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Pampuri. I really appreciate it. I'm just trying to, we use quite often here Teams, Microsoft Teams meeting, but I'm trying to share the screen. It's
Is
not
it there?
allowing. Give me 1 second.
You
Host
can
disabled.
share it. You can share it.
Yes, I'm trying to start share now, and it says host disabled attendee screen sharing.
No,
So it's
no.
not allowing me to.
You
Can
just
I
try once
email you
again.
the
Please try once
presentation
again.
to?
You try, please try once again.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm trying to do that. Give me 1 second. It's again showing the same host disabled attendee share screen
So I have
sharing.
already done it. I don't know. Okay, I will again do it. See now.
Let me see. That same message again. Is it possible if I can email it to you so
No,
you
no, no,
can?
no, no, not at all. I think earlier our that other speaker was sharing his screen. Why it's not possible with you?
I'm trying to do again. Start share. The display comes host disabled attendee. Screen share again.
Name allow screen sharing.
Start share.
1 minute, please. I will see to it.
No problem. I mean, it's technical issue. It's not an
Already,
issue. No problem.
Okay, are you share? See, can you share now?
Let me see. Start share. Yes, it's portion of screen. 1 second. So I need to open system preferences. Zoom. Quit. So it's asking me, so I may drop off, but I'll join again. So it's asking me Zoom will not be able to record the contents of your screen until it's quit. So I'll just do this and see if it allows me to do that.
Okay. We are waiting for you, sir.
I apologize. This is
no issue at all. No issue at all.
Screen. Hold on 1 second. Can we see now? Share. Oh, okay.
Yes, it has come.
Yeah, I can. Okay, that's cool. Okay, gotcha. Can you see my presentation on the?
Yes, it is there. It's there.
Okay, 1 second. All right. We can minimize this. All of that. Okay. All right. So you can see my full screen. Is that correct? Is that right, Dr. Bampuri?
It's a full screen. Probably you can make it a little concise one. In the mobiles, and I think it will not be clear because it takes so much more space there.
Sure.
You
Well,
can
let
just
me
concise
do
it.
that.
You can just make, resize it.
Sure. 1 second. Let me just do it. Is it fine now? Can you see it right now?
I'm seeing it. It's clear to me, but I will take. From Azmat. Yes, Professor Azmat.
Dr. Makhdoumi, you need to
Yes, sir.
zoom out a little bit. Zoom out little bit.
I'm
Because
trying to figure this out.
uh,
One second.
something written below regional director, it's not visible.
Clear.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay. One second. Let me figure this out. Let me see again. I'm trying to do this again. How about now? Is it
Yeah. Now it is
better
perfect.
now?
It's perfect
Okay.
now.
Okay. I'm getting text messages that the Zoom meeting number is not right. So let me share this the meeting number with some folks. One
Please,
second.
please.
Thank you. All right. Well, again, first of all, apologize for this delay due to some technical issues here. We've been, like I said, we've been using quite often the Microsoft Teams meeting here. The Zoom is sort of, it's widely used, but we are more focused on Microsoft Teams. So, but again, apologize for this. As long as you can see my screen, I've got two screens here. I can't see any of y'all. I'm trying to get the participants along the side so that I can.
You must be aware about the connectivity in Kashmir. We don't have the 4G; it's 2G. So we often put our videos off. We cannot start our videos, otherwise we won't hear anything from you. So it is better we keep our videos off, and we are listening to you. And you keep your video on, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Perfect. Well, thank you so much again. Like I said, it's a great honor, and thanks, Dr. Pompuri, for inviting me today to present my journey, starting what I did, effective what I did after I left Kashmir and where am I at now. And it's been a great pleasure to be here today, to speaking to you all. And it feels like I graduated the veterinary school yesterday, but it's already been 12 years. Gosh, it's been so long, and I've made a couple visits to the Faculty of Veterinary Sciences since I graduated, and I was really pleased to hear some good things and meet some good people there. So always indebted to the people and to the staff there. So before excuse me, before I go into the presentation, I want to put a disclaimer. I'm not a professional career counselor, but I'll try my best to share my journey with you, to basically tell you what opportunities are abroad, how you can be successful in your efforts, and where we as an alumni and your faculty members there, how they can assist you in reaching, especially in basically overcoming those barriers that a typical student in Kashmir sort of encounters. So what I thought would be the best way is to essentially make it a very interactive discussion. Rather than me giving a formal presentation and you having questions at the end, I like to have it more interactive. So if you feel you're welcome to stop me anytime if you wish, if you need any clarification or questions and answers. I can only see my screen here. I can't really see the question and answers you put in the chat box. So you'll have to unmute yourself and stop me before.
Yes, just sorry to interrupt over here. In between, we cannot have the questions. Okay. At the end of your lecture, we will have the questions from the students, and then at that time, we will unmute them. Probably it will not be nice to interrupt you in between. Let you continue your this presentation, and afterwards we will have some questions. Please.
Sure, absolutely, not a problem at all.
Go ahead, sir.
So, okay, so this is myself, Muzaffar Makhdoumi. Dr. Pompuri did a great introduction, and as you can see, I started off in 2008 from from SKUAST-KASHMIR. I graduated back in 2008, and I'm trying to change this screen. Hold on. Okay. So before we go into my personal journey, I have the overview of this presentation. I'm going to talk to you about where I started, where I ended, where I'm at now, some various options in veterinary medicine abroad. How we can, like I said before, how we can assist you to explore those options, individual routes of entry into the United States, into UK, and ways to approach each individual career path, and how we can sort of, again, guide you in that whole process. And the role of SKUAST faculty and members, SKUAST faculty members and alumni in assisting you to accomplish your goals. Are you able to, again, see the whole screen full? No data is missing, right, Dr. Pompori?
Yeah, and you can a bit zoom out. It's not clear to all the, participants. They are putting it in the chat box. You can just,
We'll see
if you can,
yes,
do it.
I'm trying to do that. It's not, so it's showing me the full screen here, but it's not allowing me to zoom out. That's
You have a presentation view there.
Let me see.
You can just you can go out of that presentation view. This okay, this is okay.
One second. I really want to make it convenient for all of us too, rather than.
It's going out the boundaries of our screen, so you can just.
Yes. I'm trying to fix it right now to see what's happening here.
Take your time, no issue.
Thank you. Let me join one more time. Start share. You can't see the screen yet?
No, your screen is not there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see this. What about
yes,
now?
now it's okay. It's now okay.
Okay.
Very nice now.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Yes, it's perfect. Yes, it's now. It's
okay,
fine.
so again, apologize for this interruption. So we'll start off with my personal journey. Then we'll move on to what options are available for people outside of the US and UK to come into these two countries to pursue education. What routes of entry are there, and how you can approach each individual pathway to accomplish your goal, and where role of SKUAST faculty members and alumni come into picture, where we come into picture to assist you to accomplish your goals. Moving on to this slide, if you can see, it's a world map. I started off back in 2008 in Kashmir when I completed my graduation from SKUAST. And soon after that, I started to do my master's in veterinary microbiology and immunology, like Dr. Pompori mentioned. We had a project back then on a development of a vaccine for foot rot in sheep, and it was the first master's thesis in India that actually I got the opportunity to work on. So that was a great start there. My inclination was always that I wanted to do research in an area that would allow me opportunities abroad. And I thought vaccine research was the perfect fit, because a lot of things, there's diseases outside of Kashmir that really are more sort of a threat to the productivity of livestock, to economy of the country when you think big picture. And that was something that I focused in myself, and I wanted to choose that route to be able to move abroad. I certainly had a goal in my mind during the vet school, that my goal, it was very clear, very focused, that whatever happens, I have to pursue my education outside of India. So ultimately, what happened is it led to an opportunity in the UK at the University of Warwick, where I pursued my PhD on Chancellor's International Scholarship. Completed my PhD in 2016 and pursued 1 year of a postdoctoral fellowship from there. Same university, under a different mentor, under a different supervisor. So those years of my PhD and postdoctoral fellowship have been really, really, fantastic, and really built my, I would say these are the building sort of stones for my career. And those opportunities were available, and it gave me a lot of opportunity to travel abroad. As a result, if you can see down in Australia here, I've highlighted Australia. I was during my PhD, it was part of my PhD program that I got to spend few months at University of Monash in Australia, in Melbourne. So as a result of that, I got extensive training in bioinformatics, whole genome sequencing approaches, and things like that. And it was, again, a collaborative effort between the University of Warwick and University of Melbourne in Australia. We had a collaborator there, Professor Julian Rood, and I met him at a conference in Italy once, and I was presenting my PhD research at one of the conferences. And he said, it was just a mere interaction. He said, well, you're working on the same disease we are working. Why don't you spend a few months, in my lab? It was just a mere interaction. And finally, it led to a big project and us publishing some research together. So I finished my, again, postdoc and PhD, and decided to move to the United States because I wanted to get some experience and exposure into clinical practice. And there's another reason. My family was here. My wife, my spouse was here in the United States. So that was another attraction for me to be able to come over and decide, what I need to do and where I need to establish my career path. And finally, I applied for a residency track, which is pretty unique. You may not have heard that often, people applying to residency programs. And I applied to the University of California, Davis. And I'll go into those tracks again, but just to give you a briefing, where I started and where I am at now. It was a 3-year clinical residency with an integrated master's. So master's program was mandatory with that residency program. It was a 3-year residency with the first year clinical residency. Second year was an integrated master's. It was a 1-year master's. And then third year was, again, back in clinics. It was pretty tough. You can imagine from the clinical perspective we get from Kashmir. Of course, there's not a lot of, not to blame anybody, but the system is in such a way that our clinical exposure is very limited. And then you're thrown into world's #1 school in veterinary medicine, University of California, Davis, large animal clinic, and being told, all right, this is your patient, and you got to go ahead and treat it. So you can imagine those first few months were pretty challenging for me to be able to read everything from scratch and basically build up my knowledge base from there and learn more more clinics compared to research. I was successful in completing my residency and master's back in 2019. I finished, completed. And then as a result of that, what happens is I appeared for a diplomate status by the American College of Veterinary Preventive Medicine, and was successful in passing my national boards and here within the United States. So to attain a diplomat of the American College status, you have to have a residency prior. Following on from there, I started off with the state government as regional director with the Texas Animal Health Commission. We are the state agency here, state government agency. My main responsibility and role is to essentially prevent foreign animal diseases. We border with Mexico, we border with Louisiana here in New Mexico to essentially prevent incursion of foreign animal diseases and ensure the health and productivity of livestock in the state of Texas is maintained. We do a whole lot of other things too, but essentially it's mainly preventing the threat coming into the country and preventing the whole nation from spread of diseases throughout the country. So I will stop here with that, with that sort of overall my background. I'll move on to now what I'm gonna, what I have for you all. So next slide. I know you all are in your veterinary careers right now. You all are in your year, certainly from year 1 to year. I'm pretty sure there's a diverse group out there right now that are listening. The focus of this presentation is really to show you the what's outside of India. I know my other colleague just now, he presented a lot of opportunities out there in India, but my goal here is to show you what you can do outside of India, whether it's UK, whether it's Australia, whether it's America. I'm going to go step by step into each one of the pathways and to tell you what's available and where you can be successful with your goal in mind. First of all, it is paramount in your head. You have to identify your goal, your long-term and your short-term goals. Thinking about your long-term goals, you want to, first of all, before you even think about making a move to abroad, you want to tell yourself, is it a short-term opportunity? Am I going to do a PhD and then come back to India to serve my country? Or am I thinking living there long-term? Because that will have a significant impact on your decision process or on the route that you want to choose. So the short-term ones are, for example, if now you have decided that you would like to pursue your career in America and maybe potentially, stay there long-term, then there are different opportunities which will make you certainly successful within a short span of time. Based on my own experiences, I'm going to share those opportunities here because I took a very long route to reach where I'm at now. And I know where I could have improved or where I could have made a difference in terms of reducing the total amount of time it took me to reach where I'm at now. So you all are, lucky you have alumni out there, and we can show you that direction. We can guide you through that path to reach where you want. First of all, I'm going to start different routes of entry. We have residency programs in the United States, and because a lot of people and a lot of speakers have already talked in depth about PhD programs, that's our generic route. I'll certainly touch base on those, but I want to touch base mainly on the residency programs and how you can go there and how you can be a successful clinician in the United States. So residency programs. So what are these? These are 3 to 4 year clinical programs based on the program of your choice. For example, if you select a residency program in livestock internal medicine or a small animal internal medicine or a small animal, OBGYN, for example, theriogenology, those are mainly 3-year programs. If you want to go into routes, for example, radiology, that's a 4-year program. So there are numerous residency programs that are available out here, and I'm going to go into detail into those. But before we go into what programs are available, first of all, you want to be thinking about what are the requirements. The first and foremost requirement, you have to have a BVSc, which you certainly will complete. Then after you have completed your BVSc, the second thing would be you want to convert your transcripts to match the US standard of grading. So to give you a perspective here, I know we are in it, unless something has changed, please correct me, but I know we have a 10 scale of grading. Here in the United States, the scale of grading is out of a 4-point scale. So what they do essentially, you submit all your transcripts to we call it education credential evaluators. Here in the United States, you submit them, you email them, there's an application fees, approximately some $150, and they evaluate your transcripts and literally match it to what it would be out of a 4-point scale. And certainly it's not that simple. There are certain factors that they take into consideration, but ultimately the report that they present to you is one that is exactly identical to what a US university would provide you. So that's number one step there. Once you graduate, you got to submit your transcript to match the grading standard. Number two, application to the veterinary internship residency matching program. So to talking about the internship or residency matching program, it's an independent autonomous body here in the United States. So how the system works, what universities do, they hire this independent body, and they provide them the list of the residency programs. Each university submits the list. So these are the programs that university, for example, I'll take University of California, Davis. So they approach the veterinary internship residency matching body and say that, okay, there are 5 programs in our university that we would like to offer residencies in. And what this veterinary internship residency matching body does, it takes applications from all candidates around the world. And then, because it's called as a matching program, I'll go into detail what that match process means. But remember, for now, you have to submit your application to the veterinary internship and residency matching program. Once you have submitted this application there, what you're going to do, you will see there's a list of programs, and I'm going to go into that's in the next slide. You'll see how the website looks and what you can do to select your programs. So essentially, you are picking at least, there's options. You can choose at least 10 residency programs, or you can choose 20 residency programs based on the amount of application fee they charge you. For example, they charge you $250 approximately for 10 to pick 10 programs. And that's what actually I did. I chose just the 10. I did not want to go into 20 because those 10 matched my interest for sure. And then what you do, when you look at those 10 residency programs, you go at the individual university website and you want to essentially look what options are available, go in depth into those programs and see if that fits with your criteria, if that fits with your goal, if this is what really interests you, and if this is what you want to do. I know previously I heard from our colleagues in India, it's the other way around. You know, you have to think about what opportunities are there, what jobs are available, and based on that, you sort of select your career path. But here in the United States, in the West, anywhere, you gotta have that goal. You gotta have that passion. Unless it's there and program directors, they recognize it, you won't be able to really be successful in whatever you do in the West. So again, going back based on what your interests are, you will rank your residency programs. After that, once you're ranked, what's your top hit, what's your second priority, what's the third, you rank them according to your interest, and then you contact the program directors for an interview. It goes again back when I say contact program directors, basically their emails, their documentation, their contact information is available online. It's available for everyone. So what you do, you initiate a conversation. That's what I will tell you what I did. I wrote an email to a professor explaining what I've done. So that again, another thing to remember here, you have to really make it as a story. It should fit. It should not be like, I did a master's in pathology, now I'm going into small animal neurosciences or neurology. This is not a connection. There's no connection in between the two. So you really have to find a program that fits what you have done in the past. To me, this residency program fitted my interest, because going back, I did a master's in veterinary microbiology and immunology and did a PhD in biological sciences. But my major focus was livestock. It was always dealing with either sheep or cows, or, essentially livestock was a target. When I looked at these residency programs, I focused, first of all, for me, it was like, okay, I cannot go into small animal. I cannot go into radiology. I cannot go into neurosciences or neurosurgery. I am better off finding a livestock oriented program. So it automatically ruled out the rest of the programs for me. But what happened was it selected all the top livestock programs. The first hit came as UC Davis was its #1 school in the world, and they have a program called Livestock, Herd Health, and Reproduction. And I'll go into more in depth into that, how you can be, how that will fit your criteria and where you can be successful in that program. So going back to the interview process, you contact the program director and you tell them, hey, this is where I came from. I'm interested in your residency program. And could we have, is it possible that I would get an opportunity to visit with you? Typically what people do, they go visit the program in person. However, if that's not feasible, I know there's a lot of, now COVID hit and whatnot. And it's equally considered, important if you approach them and do a Zoom meeting, or for example, Teams meeting and things like that, a Skype interview. There's absolutely no difference between the two if you visit in person or if you do remotely. Once you interview, the program, what they do, they rank candidates. So remember this, all the US graduates, this is their next step. What they do, majority of them go into private practice and that's it. They don't want to do higher education because for some reason, like my the colleague said, we are resilient people. We are hardworking. We have endurance. We can stay long hours. We can do wonders. Folks here, in the West, they are, I wouldn't call it, fed with silver spoons, but I do see a lot of, the differences in how we operate things and how things are being operated by local people. Again, it's just the mindset. Probably people don't want to work long hours and things like that. But again, it goes back, people will apply to these residency programs who are local. There is certainly a percentage of people that want to do higher education, that want to do PhDs, that want to reach the top positions here in the US. So what happened, that once you have interviewed, if you are successful in your interview process, a program is going to rank you. So program director will submit their ranks to the veterinary internship and residency matching program body. And if you, for example, they rank you as #1. Let's say this is a hypothetical situation where you ranked as #1 by program at University of California. And you, in your mind, you are already like, okay, UC Davis is the best program. I like what they offer. I like their clinical structure. You rank them as #1 because the program director submits their ranks and the student who applies, they submit their rank too. If #1 and #1 match, if you rank #1, they rank you #1, you match for the program. It's a pretty tricky, process, but yeah, again, I got successful. I was matched at UC Davis, and so I don't see a reason why you can't. If I am able to do this, I certainly think you will be able to do this too. Moving on, and then of course, when you get matched, this is where you start your career. The website I was talking about, this slide where it says, if you look at the top, veterinary internship and residency matching program, you'll have to initiate the process by actually creating an account with them. And if you look at, I'm not sure how clearly you can see, but there are certain dates. If you see September 1, 2020, what they're saying, program entry, institutions will begin entering program information, like I explained before. So the universities will submit them a list saying that these are the programs that we offer the residencies in. Please highlight them out there and get us students that want to apply to these programs. And then October 1st, this is the second in line, they say initial list of completed programs are available. So when they say that, that means they are available for you to visualize. So when you open an account, you should be able to program search. If you look at the left side on this, there's #3, it's program search where my cursor is. In that, you'll be able to see the whole list of the programs. October 15, end of the program entry. So universities have only till October of this year, 15th of this year, to enter all the programs there. November 1st, applicants are able to register. So you can register for the VIRMP matching program on November of the 1st. Then application deadline. Now, when I say application, let me give you a little bit of background about what this application process entails. So first of all, what they need is of course, your transcripts. Those are already evaluated by the Education Commission here in the U.S. After that, the veterinary internship and residency matching program, this autonomous body, will send that application to SKUAST for verification purposes. And my application was sent there, and thanks to folks there, and it was submitted back fairly quickly. I know things can take a long time, but sometimes you have to push really hard to move those things forward. And so luckily for me, it was quite a breeze. It didn't take that long. And so to put that into perspective, once VIRMP, that's Veterinary Internship and Residency Matching Program, it sends applications to the SKUAST administration. You have to follow up, so that you go to the SKUAST authorities and say, hey, you got my application. I would like, please, to process this at an earliest to send it back to them. Once VIRMP receives the application back, they will complete all of your the package. In addition to that, for the residency program, you need 3 letters of recommendations. And what that essentially, there's already a set format. So VIRMP has set a specific format for people to be able to, for professors to be able to rank you at different steps, to know your intellectual ability, to know your learning skills, to know, to talk about your overall as how you are as a person. I want to remind everyone, you know, in the West, focus has not just been given to your grades. And it is really important to understand for people who really think that, you know, maybe they have a grade of 6.7 or 6.5 and they will not be able to achieve nothing. That is not true. You certainly will be able to exactly achieve the same thing that a person with 8.0 has achieved or is going to achieve. So, to motivate you there, Western universities, they don't just see one aspect. They see a person as a full package. They want to see each and every skill set they have, and the background they come with, you know, and their overall personality as a person. Because it's important to remember, when folks come here to do these programs, it's always a teamwork. That's the notion what you get from the West. You never say, I did this. We work as a team. It's a team effort. Everyone works in the team, and you have to be fit to be able to fit in that and match that team expectation. So again, your professors at SKUAST are going to evaluate you on those things. And once your full package is out there, the matching process will begin. The last thing here, you'll see February 12th, applicant rank order list. So you rank you rank them as UC Davis as number 1, Cornell as number 2. You list all the in an order that you like the program. And finally, after that, the university has a specific date to submit their ranking. Again, if you rank both the same 1 and 1 or 2 and 2, you will match the program. Sometimes what happens is the loophole here is, which I want to discuss with you. If you rank the program as number 1 and university ranks you at number 2, you will not be able to match with that program. Basically, that position remains open. It's the way the system has been set up here, but you won't be able to really match for that program. But once the ranking is over, once the whole process has been completed, the positions that have not been matched will be open. So what happens there, they will go on the website, again, on the VIRMP list, and you will see how many open positions are there and which programs did not match. So what you do, your next step, if you haven't matched already to a residency program, what you do is you immediately contact the professor directly. Because what happens is, once the matching process is over and the positions that have not been filled, it is the authority, or it falls under the jurisdiction of that program director personally to decide on which applicants he or she wants to select. So the best bet there, if you have not already been matched for the program, you immediately contact the program director, you forward your whole application packet to them via email and say you're willing to, visit with them for an interview. And if that works, I know a lot of people have actually matched through that. They did not directly match through the VIRMP, but they matched by contacting the professor directly for residency. So that's another sort of aspect to keep in mind. Okay, what are some of the top residency programs here in the U.S.? Like I said, livestock, herd health, and reproduction. That's the residency I did at the University of California, Davis. I told you why I did this and what you could do. To me, a lot of people in Kashmir, where you are at, the setting you are in, there's a lot of livestock focus than small animal. At least I believe that there's still not a lot of small animal practice. And it's mainly large animal. You see horses, you see equine, you see livestock. So to me, your best bet is to apply for a large animal residency with a livestock focus. And that's exactly what I did. So what are you expecting from this residency program? Some universities have a requirement that you have to have a national boards before you apply for residencies, but some universities do not have that licensing requirement. So you, as a candidate from Kashmir, can really directly come to, for example, a university in North Carolina and actually start their residency programs there. What you expect in this program, it's a 3-year, really hardcore intensive training. Essentially, you're spending, it may interest you because it's a completely new world. When I came here, I was amazed the amount of technology. Again, not to say that, we all know where West stands with technology and the skill sets and the advancement in veterinary medicine. And that's paramount. That's key to understand. Procedures from neurosurgery to CT scans to MRIs to the radiographs is like a cakewalk. Like every animal gets taken if we suspect anything. I've at least taken like hundreds of radiographs throughout my 3-year of residency in clinical practice here. So you're expecting, really, you go in at 8 o'clock, you finish at 5 o'clock, but then you're on call. So it's a full-on, like a human medicine program is set up. It's even more intense than a human medicine program. So you do your normal clinical activities for the first year. And then you have, like, I believe it's depending on the program, you're on call. So, but again, remember, you're not on call by yourself. You always have a faculty backup. When I started here, I had a, I had a 3rd-year resident who was almost about to complete, and he's as good as a professor, as an assistant professor, because that's what the level of training is, that when you are in your 3rd year of your residency, you should be good to run the residency program, run the clinic by yourself. And that's the expectation. For the first 6 months, what you'll have a backup. You'll have always a 3rd-year resident. You'll be shadowing them, or there's always a faculty clinician on service on clinics. You'll spend majority of your time on the clinic doing on-call shifts, doing treatments, and visiting with patients, visiting with producers and whatnot. So when I say let me add this another thing here. The background we treat patients, so we are done. Here, the 50% of that falls with communication, how communicative you are with the producers. Producers expect you to give them a call every morning, talk to them about the health of their pet. Because remember this, we come from a different background. We have a completely different thought process when it comes to animals. Here in the West, animals are like their children. Like you have a family member at a hospital, you would be very anxious to know what their status is. That's exactly what happens. The first thing you go to the hospital, we get a bunch of calls. Can you please provide us updates with respect to my pet, what happened and how their health is doing and things like that. So you make a priority that you do your treatments and you contact your producers there. You contact the pet owners and say, okay, this is what happened overnight. Things went well, things that did not go well. So you discuss each and everything, and then you base it, you tell them, this is my clinical judgment. Okay, this is where we are. The prognosis of this case is going to be either favorable or grave or poor, depending on your clinical decision there. But you got to be honest and truthful to them so that they can make a decision. With livestock, at least my personal experience, I have seen not a lot of people want to spend enough, resources in terms of money to pay to the hospital compared to a small animal, a dog or a cat. If the situation, they have to decide between taking a radiograph for a sheep, they would sometimes think that, okay, maybe I'm better off if that sheep is euthanized. So I have had to make those decisions too with the producers to actually humanely euthanize some of those animals, the ruminants. So again, that's like, again, to wrap up, like, what you'd be expecting, it's a hardcore training. You'll be on clinic, but you will learn a whole lot of deal. You'll be a completely new person, and it is not impossible. And like I said, remember where I come from, the limited amount of clinical exposure we have back where we belong to, and you're thrown into world's #1 clinic. And it was quite a challenge for me, but I did succeed in that. Again, all you need is motivation, eagerness to learn, and have that ability to actually learn. And it's not rocket science, trust me. And I've been there, I've seen that, and you can do it. If I can do it, you certainly can do this. That's mainly about the clinical programs. Now, I know a lot of people back home, the focus is research. That's where I started. I did my master's in microbiology. And, there are certain universities that offer the residency program based on, your interest, mainly in research. There are clinical microbiology programs, residencies. There are clinical and anatomic pathology residency programs. So I have listed quite a few universities here. Colorado State University, I know they offer the clinical microbiology. The reason I put it there, because that could be an easy path for you. If, for example, you all have done a master's degree in India, and you're interested to not to necessarily go into clinical practice, but to have a focus on a non-clinical subject based on your interest, again, and you want to pursue that career. What you are going to do, you're going to apply for a non-clinical residency program. And your options, I'll discuss them, what you can do with those programs. Essentially, you're staying in the field. You're not changing your field, #1. #2, you are, it's a pretty straightforward, pretty easy path to go that route. And I've seen a lot of people from India. And actually, I was told, this is funny, at one of the meetings, I was told by one of the professors, so this is the comment she made, I am amazed that why are people from India and, Southeast Asia, mainly India, why are all of them a microbiologist? Is that an interest? And because I know in the back of my mind, I knew where this was coming from, because this is an easy path to go out. But again, unfortunately, you can't tell people that this is our easy route. You have to certainly demonstrate your interest. So I'd certainly said, we have a lot of, there's a lot of, disease stuff going on in India, and a lot of opportunities to develop new vaccines and technology. And that's why people have this research interest and all that. But try to, diplomatically answer that question. But again, so the reason I said this was, India has a diverse population, and the easiest route is to go choose a non-clinical residency position. There are no licensing requirements. You don't have to have a state license to practice to be able to go into the clinical microbiology residency. And you don't necessarily need a license to be able to have a residency in clinical and anatomic pathology programs here in the US. I know this question might come in the end that, how much do you pay? What do you do? What not? All residency programs in the US are paid. So that's why it's a very competitive process, because you are a salaried employee. You are not a student anymore. You're a staff for the university. It's a term position, either 3 or 4 years, and you are on a staff payroll. It's not a hefty amount. It's approximately, it varies where you are. If you're in California, you're looking at around $45,000 a year. It's nothing really, when you think about the amount, in US dollars, $45,000 is really nothing. It's just a meager stipend to pay for your cost of living and to pay for your expenses. But again, it's paid, so you don't have to worry about asking your parents for funding there. Okay, this is again giving you a little bit of sort of just to motivate you how our clinical settings are out here. If you look at this picture, this is a 4th year senior. We call it a senior year. You can see that this girl that's pictured in the front, she's hugging this cat. That's the amount of passion and that's the amount of love they have for these small animals, and for each animal to put that into perspective. And this is like each individual student there. You get to perform a surgery. It was a spay-neuter clinic, and you can see everybody is gowned up. The hygiene. Look at the hygiene. Look at the the setting, and it can automatically tell you how much impact or how much attention these veterinary programs get in the US. So moving on to another picture. This is where I used to be based at UC Davis. This is one of our major buildings there. It's not necessarily the hospital there, but it's a infrastructure that's established next to our large animal clinic, but that's where my office was. And then look at this. So when I said it's pretty, are you able to see this picture, Dr. Pomperi? Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm not, I'm appropriately sharing the screen here. Can you see the pictures here?
It's all okay. It's all okay. Go ahead.
Okay, excellent. Yes. Okay. Yes. So if you look at this final picture right here, you see the clinician is about to perform an intensive surgical procedure on an animal. You see towards the right side, the table is set up, and look at the instruments. Look at the ECG, monitoring, the heart monitoring, and all of those fancy instruments are out there, and students are watching in the background and looking at this screen right at the top to see what the surgeon is performing. So just to give you, it's a pretty high-end skill set that you are getting after you complete your residency. Okay, now on to good stuff. On to what are the employment opportunities after you have completed your residencies in whatever field you go? First of all, I've listed these ones here. The first and foremost, if you are a resident, you complete your residency, you are eligible for a clinical assistant professor position. And why I say clinical assistant professor position, this is what there's a big differentiation between a clinical assistant professor and a research assistant professor. And you will realize this once, if you choose that path, these are your opportunities. But to make that distinction is important because it ultimately determines your residency career, your path. If you want to really stay in research all your life, if you want to change not necessarily change, if you want to, at least have an advanced career in clinical practice. The reason I put this clinical assistant professor there is because all faculty positions that are clinical at vet schools, the teaching and doing clinics. So you're doing 3 things in this role. You're attending the faculty clinic. If you're an assistant professor, that's called as a service towards the hospital. So you are on a rotation as an assistant professor to head the clinic. Then you have residents under you. Then you have students and technicians and whatnot. You have all your staff. The reason these clinical faculty positions are more lucrative because you do not have to worry for funding. A lot of research assistant professor positions here, they have to generate a part of their salary out of the grants. With clinical assistant professors, you do not have that requirement. If you are selected as a faculty member at a vet school on a clinical track, your salary is covered. You will be renewed your contract annually. It's an annual renewal of the contract. And again, remember this, you may find this amazing, and even our faculty members in SKUAST might find this interesting. If you are hired as a faculty member here at in the US in one of the universities, there's no guarantee that you will survive in this position for next 20 years. Like our faculty members, we have a very secure system in Kashmir, but that's the beauty of Kashmir. Let me tell you, outside India, it's not the case. It's always based on your performance, how you do. And that's what actually I was intrigued to see, because that's what motivates everybody to work hard, to do their job to the best, and be accomplished, because they want to sustain, they want to have their jobs, they don't want to lose their employment. So clinical assistant professor is the path to go, certainly. But after you have the residency, you're good to be an assistant professor there. Then the next one is, if you chose a residency that is a clinical microbiology residency, your next actually more secure opportunity is, this is AAVLD, which means American Association of Veterinary Laboratory Diagnosticians. These are accredited, there are state diagnostic labs. So each vet school has an associated diagnostic laboratory. Because remember this, if you think this into perspective, imagine the skims we have in Kashmir. You have clinical patients coming in, blood samples are drawn, and those get to the lab for testing. Similarly, because of the advanced structure, advanced practice, each vet school has to have a state-funded diagnostic laboratory associated to the vet school. There are certain state diagnostic labs here that are necessarily not associated with the vet school, but there are some. So your next career after you've done your clinical microbiology, you can become a section head of either a bacteriology section head, diagnostic lab, or you can be a virology section head. It is a big position, trust me. It's not just one division, and it's a pretty comfortable, and at the same time, it's a state funded, means more secure position. So you have a job that's your full on, unless you really mess something up and you're terminated from your service. That's a different ball game. But other than that, nobody in the state jobs has the ability to touch you, touch your employment. Again, putting my background into perspective, when I finished my residency program, because like I said, each interview you go to or job application you submit, you certainly have to explain, it has to match, it has to be a story, what you did. Because people will ask you, if you were a livestock practitioner for 5 years, why did you automatically switch to a different field? What made you do that? That actually tells people here that it's not a stable career, and that will go sometimes against you. So it's always better to have one path and go follow that path right from the beginning. I was offered at Texas A&M College of Veterinary Medicine. That's about in the top 10 schools here in the US in veterinary medicine. They have a TVMDL, that's called as Texas Veterinary Medicine Diagnostic Laboratory. That's associated with the Texas A&M College of Vet Medicine. I was offered their section head of bacteriology position before I actually worked, before I took my current position. Unfortunately, my family, my spouse couldn't find a job there. We didn't have opportunities for both of us to secure positions in that part of the state. So I decided to give that position away. But again, like you said, opportunities are there. I got this position. You should be easily able to get that too if you follow the right track. There are, number 3, there are government positions that are available. When I say government positions, there are field veterinarian positions available within the government. There are, we call it veterinary medical officers. There are VMOs available. So different state government, they have their state, there's internal arrangements are different. However, I can just talk for the state of Texas, where I am currently. In my region currently, I've got 2 field VMO positions that are available. For those field veterinary medical officer positions, what they do, they report to the regional director. Regional director is their immediate supervisor. So they report to me in my region, and essentially I assign their job duties where they go to. You know, what field assignment I need to accomplish in my region, I will deploy the field veterinarian and tell them, okay, this is where you need to go. This is what we need to accomplish, you know, in this part of the state. And underneath those are our field inspectors. So inspectors do our major work. You know, they are government employees. They are out there to test cattle, to test herds for diseases and, you know, surveillance and monitoring programs. They are the ones that are the front line. And then our field veterinarians are out there, they're supervising those operations and ensuring that where veterinary expertise has to come into picture, they go and fill that gap. We do certainly see a lot of foreign animal disease diagnostic incidents happening. I'll share one of my experiences with you. A couple days ago, I got a call that, you know, my office actually got a call that we had 20 cattle dying on this farm. And then all of a sudden, based on the location where we are at, like I said, we border with Mexico, and we have a constant incursion of foreign animal diseases coming in. Like babesiosis is endemic in Mexico. Babesiosis is not present here, and that's what back in 200 years ago. Just to give you that perspective a little bit, 200 years ago there was a foreign animal disease threat, and that killed 95% of the livestock in the state of Texas. So we are very, very cautious about having any foreign animal disease agent come in, because that's going to jeopardize states' funding, state's position, and actually compromise the national surveillance program here in the whole United States. So we are very, very tough on those, and we're very particular to prevent those incursions coming into the United States. So again, the options, those are your options available there. Then you can also go into pharmaceutical companies. If you have a diagnostic microbiology residency, for example, you can work as a scientist. In drug development companies and vaccine development companies. Again, those are mainly straightforward paths here. If you have a degree, if you have experience, you can certainly go and explore those options. Lastly, what you can do, you can set up your own private practice. Absolutely, veterinarians love to do that in this country. Like we have hospitals and people work for different departments. It doesn't work like that. You can establish your own clinical practice and be your own boss and earn a lucrative amount of money, if you're in clinical practice. So that's also another, opportunity, what can happen following your completion of the residency program. Moving on, clinical practice, again, continue. So what you need now, for example, if you decide you want to go and set up your practice in the United States, again, there are certain requirements that you want to fulfill. I have done those, and again, if I did it, a lot of people that alumni are in the process of getting those exams cleared, and you should be able to exactly follow the path that we did. So this is called as the ECFEG process, which means Education Commission for Foreign Veterinary Graduates. It is a 4-step process. What you do, I'll be very brief here. You register with the program, and then you provide them your proof of graduation. There's a fees. I just wanted to put it out there so that you know what to expect. And then once you've already completed all your admin sort of work, background submission, paperwork, documentation, you go ahead and you complete your English proficiency test, which is your TOEFL and IELTS if you are in the UK. Then, importantly, there's a basic and clinical science knowledge. That's where your veterinary science knowledge comes into practice. It's not rocket science. Believe me, it's pretty straightforward. I have taken that exam. It's a 500, I believe it's the 500. Yeah, it's a multiple choice, approximately, can't remember exactly because I took it a few years ago. It's a I believe it's 400 to 500 questions, multiple choice, and it's an exam for like 6 to 7 hours. You're sitting in front of a computer at an exam center. But it's very basic, like your first and second year knowledge. You don't need to necessarily know each and everything that you learned in your first and second year. There's ways to pass this exam. There's resources out there that will guide you to actually pass this exam. So I know people, when I was in Kashmir and this opportunity was there, I freaked out. So, well, this is not beyond my my ability, but it's not. It's really straightforward when you think about it. You're smart. You're knowledgeable. Remember this one thing I want to really emphasize here. If you are able to pass your first year VCI exam, you can do any wonder in the world. You trust me on that. You believe me. Because the amount of education we get, the amount of knowledge and the books we read, it is beyond expectation. Not many people do that outside of India. The veterinary curriculum, the way it's set up for veterinary graduates here, it's pretty straightforward. Professors, they deliver the slides, the lectures via presentations, and whole exam will come out of those talks. There will be nothing from the book. So you can imagine they're being given the knowledge they only need to know. They don't need to know the life cycle of a tick, or they don't need to know the biochemistry that we study in our first year, the whole, the dang book. But what I'm trying to say here is, they get only what they need in the field and how they can be successful in accomplishing their jobs. And also another thing to put in perspective, there's always a backup system. The way the system is here, if a veterinarian is not sure about his diagnosis or need assistance, there's always a backup. You call the other person, you call your faculty, you call your colleague, or you call your teachers. And that's the relationship I see, which is the beauty of this country, is that communication, relationship between student and teacher is amazing. You can call them anytime, say, hey, this is where I got the case. I'm not able to make the conclusion here. Can you please assist me in this process? And they love to hear from the students, and they love to help their students wherever they are. So once you pass this exam, then there's a big part called clinical skills assessment, which is a little bit of a, it's cost $6,000 to pass that test, and basically is an application fee, but trust me, it's worth it. And if you have spent 3 years in a residency program, you should be within a blink of an eye able to pass that clinical skills. So it's exactly what you learn. You go and take that test. In the end, once you finish all these steps, you go ahead and do your NAVLE, North American Veterinary Licensing Exam, and your state boards. Again, it may seem as a big process. It certainly is a long process, but it is not difficult to achieve. So, and in the end, you will cherish these moments. In the end, you will realize that, it's a worthwhile event, worthwhile, effort, and you will love what you do. Moving on from clinical practice in USA to some generic, what we have by default, what all of us do, PhD programs. In the US, we have a 5 to 6 year research focus. Again, to remember, I'll share my experience, and I sometimes, disagree with some of the folks that, portray US as the best PhD program. Certainly there are, the research is at the top, but in my opinion, I would consider PhD programs in the UK more appropriate to our needs, and actually more conducive in terms of how we have been brought up and things like that. Here, PhD programs last for minimum of 6 years, with 2 years of your coursework and 4 years of research. You have to be really lucky to finish it within 5 years. They say on paper, but it never happens. However, in the UK, what you do is typically PhD programs are like in India, 3.5 to 4.5. It can go up to 5 years. But if you're dedicated, you can complete your PhD within 3 years within 4 years of your start date of the program. Certain requirements are there. What you want to do, you have to have an master's degree. And I know my colleagues in the past, they gave these talks and they talked about GRE and TOEFL. These are like basic exams. I mean, there's no shortcut. Unfortunately, you have to remember this. There is really no shortcut to entry into the West. There's a process which everybody follows, everybody goes through. And if you sometimes, and I'll tell you this, sometimes some people get a little bit of an advantage. They have somebody that they know in the US, and the person will call them, say, hey, well, come on, do a research assistantship in my lab. You don't need a GRE there. You don't need a TOEFL. Oh, sure thing. You know, I understand. I agree. And people do come in. But ultimately, what those folks do, they are in the lab. They don't have a degree. They can't advance their career there as a research assistant. That's like a stepping stone. And I know my colleagues actually had that opportunity to go, and I did not have that. So again, you know, putting my things into perspective, ultimately you have to take that exam when you enroll, whether you are in the US or you are in India, wherever you are. GRE is a requirement and you got to take that. So if you are interested in PhD programs, start looking at these resources now. Start looking at whatever is available out there. And I guarantee you that, you know, whatever I'm able to see on internet and explore things on GRE and TOEFL, you'll be able to explore the same information sitting back home in Kashmir. There's no difference. So if you are interested, start looking at it now, get the resources. You know, these are not expensive deals. There's a center in GRE center in Delhi. Maybe it might have changed now. It might have been in Kashmir. I know there's a TOEFL center in Kashmir. Not sure if it's still alive, but I took my TOEFL exam in Hyderpora, Kashmir, when I took it a few years ago when I was there. And GRE, I had to go to take it in New Delhi. But again, those are two things that you would require, and start focusing on those now. If you want to go on to do a PhD in the UK, you don't need a GRE. You need IELTS or TOEFL. These are English language tests. It's nothing rocket science, pretty straightforward. If you have, you know, studied in an English medium school, or, you know, have in India essentially, or Kashmir, approximately 95% of the student population does know English, and their mode of education is in English. So it may require you to, you know, make a little bit of effort, but nothing difficult. So these are the tests you would need to take before you can go into the application process. Okay, all right. So approach to a PhD application. Now you're thinking, you made your mind up, you want to do a PhD, and I know my colleagues talked about this in the past, but I really want to give you a little bit of my own perspective. So when you're ready to submit a PhD application, or for that matter, a master's application, build your CV. You know, how can you build your CV? You can't just put out, you know, things there that you haven't done. First of all, your CV should reflect your academic credentials, what your grades are. Certainly, it's good if you have good grades. That's always a bonus. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't work hard. You have to work hard to be able to get to where you want to be in next 10 years. But put your academic credentials there. If you have any honors and awards. So what I have, after my personal experience from Kashmir and from the rest of the world, I know us as individuals, as in the faculty, we do so much, but we don't necessarily know how to express ourselves, how to display what we do. So what happens is, if you, for example, you attended a talk, or you assisted your colleague, a junior, you provided them some teaching material. I can tell you mine, when I used to pass the year, I won't take the names, but a year before me, one of my juniors, he would come to me and take all the notes, all the books, and everything I had. And I never thought this would count somewhere, but that's actually what counts a lot. So that's sort of your mentorship. You're providing them your resources to guide them through that path. And that needs to go on your CV if you have done that. Attendance at conferences. I know it can be difficult to attend international conferences when you're sitting out there, and resources can be a challenge. I totally understand that. But if there are some national conferences, or if there are some webinars and things like that that you can attend while you're home, start doing that now. start building that CV to reflect these things, because this is what you'll be evaluated. Trust me, this is exactly what you'll be evaluated on. How many publications have you published? Again, going back to publications, the normal, by default, people say high-end, top-end research publications and journals and high impact factors. I love that. Yes, great. If you can do that, why not? But if you're not able to publish your research in your master's in a high-end journal, that does not mean you're not worth it. You're not worthwhile. You can make it. Exactly. If you publish in an Indian journal that doesn't have an impact factor, you certainly will be at the same level as somebody who has published in international journals. There's no, as long as you demonstrate to them in a PhD application, you have the ability to publish. Because what they're going to do after you complete your PhD, this is exactly what you're going to do. During your PhD, when you get in, you'll be teaching and providing mentorship to students, so master students. You'll be doing teaching assistantships. That's how you gain your funding when you're in a PhD program. And you'll be attending conferences. That's like mandatory. When I was in a PhD, I think that's the best time of my life. I got so much exposure, so much traveling that I did. Like I mentioned earlier, I was in Australia. I went to US for conferences. Europe was a cakewalk. It was a 1-hour flight. Every opportunity I get, and that's the norm in the West. They like to promote their students. They like to, and it was all funded. We had all these grants in the department, and all the student travel, all the presentations, conference attendances were all paid for. So it's a really different part of the world. You'll be amazed to see, what opportunities you have available out there. So that's your CV. Then you go to the statement of purpose. Again, it really has to be a true reflection of your interest and passion. That is important. Remember this, you cannot bluff on an application that is, you have to really make it a story that should fit your interest, that should fit your passion, because this is the first step. What a professor sees, they don't see who a person ABC in Kashmir is sitting. They don't know who you are. They have absolutely no idea that you are a topper there or you're a second topper, and they really don't care about that. What they want to see is how you present yourself to them. Are you able to reflect as a true PhD candidate? Do you have the ability of a candidate that can actually, during the PhD program, fulfill all those criteria, mentor students, presentation skills? And I'm not saying this, I was back then, I'm a completely different person now, but back 10 years ago, I was exactly like you. I had no idea where to start, where to end, what is statement of purpose. You have to make, and this is where we come into picture to assist you. We're a group of almost 5-6 people, 6 veterinarians, almost 6, I believe, who are in the US, and 1 is in Australia. And this is where we come into existence, in your career, to help you, guide you through this process. And I'll go into towards the end, I'll tell you exactly, that's where we come into the existence in your career building. So you all are lucky, to be honest. We didn't have that opportunity, but you all have. So take best advantage of that and go forward. Once you have done your statement of purpose, your CV is ready to go, explore multiple graduate programs. Don't just stick to one. If you do that, trust me, you're going to lose. You're not going to achieve much. To look at different universities, explore programs, and explore interest. Are you really wanting to spend 4 years into this PhD program? Do you really like it? I know people have, people get mood swings. They, within 5 months, you'll see, or within a month, you'll see a completely different person talking completely different thing. I've seen that quite often in Kashmir. There's people who have reached out to me with so much passion, and I spend so many hours to guide them through the process. Actually, I shouldn't say this, write the statement of purposes for them, but in the end, they get one failure, and that loses all the motivation there. Be ready for that. You will see rejections, and not to mention, I'll tell you in the end how many rejections I've got in my reaching up to here. It's not always a straightforward journey, but you have to be ready for that. So once you have explored multiple graduate programs, shortlist a few and establish a contact with the professor. That is your make or break. Trust me, this is what it is. It takes one email to cut down the connection. It takes one email to literally build a relationship. Um, Again, your setting is different, your background is different, your way of expressions are different. Exactly, I was there 10 years ago. Not to blame anybody, not to blame you. But remember this, we are here to help you. We can guide you in this path. We can show you essentially what an email should look like when you draft that to a professor. I'll give you a little example here. We had a student who was my junior. I wrote an email from him. We sent it to the professor. We got a fantastic response back. So the response was, I'm waiting for the funding. Please allow me some time so that, I'll explore more funding options for you. He really liked the CV. And I told the candidate, I said, well, you need to wait, be patient, just calm down. We'll do it. We're in the right track. The candidate, without informing me, made a phone call directly to a professor in England, and unfortunately, not deliberately, but unfortunately, the way the expression was, it was kind of very direct, and so professor did not like that. Within 2 hours of that phone call, another email came back. I apologize. I do not have any position for you. So again, you can make it or you can break it, up to you. But we come into existence to help you to guide through that process there. This is very critical. Remember this slide. This will certainly help you. The generic approach to PhD application is, you have to seek funding. In America, within the United States, what happens is there's always, professor has grant applications, and he's using those grant applications to hire students from India, from Pakistan, from wherever you are. But there's the beauty, which people don't know. Universities in the UK, and especially in the UK, I can talk about that because I've been there. So they have the university scholarships. I was not aware until I got one to study for my PhD. So I studied at University of Warwick on a Chancellor's International Scholarship. What this scholarship is, this covers your full international tuition fee for 5 years. So you're all set. You don't have to pay anything towards the program. And then on top of that, it will cover your cost of living. It gives you £24,000 in a year to suffice for your living, suffice for your food and subsistence and whatnot. And that is, trust me, a lot of money per month. You're getting like £1,800 or £1,500 approximately. That is a lot. You can actually save a lot of money if you wish to. So not to go into that, that's different stuff, but University of Warwick has Chancellor's International Scholarship. They offer throughout the university programs. They offer, I believe, in my time, there were 12. Across the whole world, applications would come and they would select top 12 candidates based on overall presentation, what they have done, their research, not necessarily how much you have published, but what is your focus? What's your goal? To me, what assisted me was, because I had worked on the vaccine and foot rot, and UK has a major problem of foot rot and sheep. It leads to £84 million loss to the country. That's why exactly I stressed earlier, you have to show your interest and show what is the hot topic. Essentially, I want to put it this way. If you're going to UK, you want to see what problems does UK have. If you want to be diplomatic and try to get your way, around things, I'll tell you this thing. You want to be really able to determine if there's a hot topic, a disease that is becoming a problem or an emerging situation or emerging problem in the UK. Try to focus on those projects. I'm pretty sure we are pretty adaptable to different situations, pretty adaptable to different projects. We, as individuals from India and Kashmir, we have that resilience. We can do anything, any wonders in the world. So once you have identified that, you have the best hit to get your funding there, because they want to work on that and you are the one that comes with an interest. That's what they want to see. That's how that match happens. But moving on to University of Nottingham, they have the Nottingham Research Excellence Scholarship. Actually, I was offered the position in Nottingham, UK, at Nottingham Veterinary School, and offered the Nottingham Research Excellence Scholarship. The only difference between the two was Nottingham offered a virology program, which my background, I didn't have a background in virology. I had done mostly foot rot and bacteriology research in India, in Kashmir. So it was not something that was really attractive, but if I didn't have any other option, I would have certainly closed my eyes and moved forward with that. So Nottingham Research Excellence Scholarship, look these up. That the reason I'm putting here, I want to give you a background, what's available there. You don't have to worry too much about who's going to fund my PhD? What am I going to do? There are universities that have funding for international students. Explore those links, explore those options. These are some of the things that I've put out there. Google them and go see which professors have the ability to, or what research projects interest you. Look at their research profile and do that background, start doing that background research now if you are interested in that path. University of Bristol, this will amaze a lot of people here. They offer a scholarship called Zuchi Smith Scholarship. Remember this word, I'll repeat, Zuchi Smith Scholarship. This is specifically for students from Kashmir. I bet nobody knows that, and I did not know that until one of my colleagues, Dr. Swed Abdullah, he's now a faculty member in Australia now. He went there after me. I was the first one to go out of Kashmir to the UK to pursue the PhD there. After me, my batchmate Swed Abdullah, he came on this Zuchi Smith, and I was amazed. I said, "Where did how did you find it?" And so again, not many people know. This is so there's limited competition. It's only focused for Kashmiri students. So you have all the opportunities, all the sort of resources there. Start building your career, start building your CV, your statement of purpose, and apply to this scholarship. I believe it's every 3 years, if I'm not incorrect. So go on University of Bristol, look up Zuchi Smith Scholarship and explore, see where you can make your, how you can, you make your way forward. Certainly in the UK, there's University of Cambridge, Oxford, they have the scholarships too. And so these are some things that I certainly want you to go and look into these and start building your path there. The universities I put here, these are among the top 5, top 10 universities in the UK. Warwick, where I graduated from, was number 5 in the UK when I graduated. Nottingham, again, these are the top ones. And the beauty of those universities is there is no application fee. So I know a lot of people might not have the opportunity to pay $200 just to risk like, $15,000, $20,000 just for an application. UK universities, the ones at least I highlighted here, they do not have an application fee. So you just get your application packet ready, email it to them, and you're good to go. Certainly in India, there are some Commonwealth scholarships. I don't know a lot about those. You have to go back and there's DARD scholarships. There's Commonwealth scholarships available for Commonwealth countries. And certainly there are some teaching assistantships. Once you have gained entry into the PhD program, you mentor your students, your undergraduates, and you get some funding there that covers your full international tuition fee. But my perspective, if I were to decide on where I want to do a PhD, I will definitely recommend explore UK. You'll have a much more comfortable life. It's pretty much similar what you do in India, certainly advanced, but with respect to the lifestyle, it's a way more calm and conducive PhD program compared to US. US, you'll be 24/7 in the lab. I bet you and I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. PhD students get rubbed off fairly quickly here in the US. Again, moving on to the next step is our postdoctoral fellowships. These are term positions, pretty temporary positions funded through an approved grant application. If a professor has a grant, he wants to hire a researcher which has a PhD and has certainly published some papers, demonstrated that they have the ability to write grants, demonstrated that they have the ability to write publications and publish in high impact journals, being able to mentor PhD students, being able to present at international conferences and so on. So those are some of the things that you certainly want to take into consideration if you want to go that route after your PhD. The postdocs typically last for 2 to 3 years, and you're employed as either a postdoctoral fellow or a research assistant After that, once you complete your 2 to 3 years of postdoctoral fellowship, typically your employment opportunities are either you go as a research assistant professor, but I think I covered that already. With research assistant professor, there is a difference between clinical and research. With research, you have to generate a part of your own funding. And it's a completely different process. You have to be on a tenure track, and there's no guarantee that you'll have a job down the line if you don't get research grants from the National Institute of Health or any other research body for that per se. So you always have to have some funding source if you are on the research track. That's why I'm a little reluctant to recommend this track to people, because I know there's a lot of hardships that come with this track, and a lot of people that have actually gone to Western countries and came back, this is the track that they choose. They were postdoc fellows, and ultimately there was not much available to them after that. So that decided them to sort of, either come back. Again, not to discourage anybody, some people make those choices on their own. But this is sort of, this traditional postdoc research assistant professor is a traditional track, which has a lot of challenges. And I bet you that you will face those. We talked about this. Moving on, role of your mentors and alumni. Where do we stand? Where do we come into existence? Recommendation letters. So your boss, your teacher, your professor at in SKUAST will have the so they'll provide you the letter of recommendations. Again, it's not just a generic letter that this person is doing a great job and whatnot. You have to really evaluate. So this is for faculty members. You really have to evaluate the student in all of those factors. Are they team players? Do they have the ability to think through difficult situations? What things went well, and you necessarily, you don't want to write any negative aspects on the recommendation, but don't make it in such a way that it's all polished to an extent that when the person goes there, if it's not true reflection of the candidate, that's not a good reflection on your part as a faculty member providing that recommendation. Maybe the next time you provide a recommendation to another candidate, the value of that recommendation would not be as much as the first one had. So where we come into existence, again, we can certainly provide you letters of recommendations if we know who you are, if we know your work, and we can help you in proofreading your statement of purposes and communications. That's the key. That's definitely a key. And I can tell you very proudly that I have mentored some students, and they really got to the level of an interview in a residency program, which is a big deal. It's not easy that way. So getting an interview is itself an accomplishment if you are called in for an interview. So I have a couple people that have been communicating with me throughout the course, and they got up to the level of an interview. Unfortunately, they didn't get into the program because there were other candidates competing there. But even getting an interview is a big deal. So we can help you and assist you in getting up to that level. Provide opportunities to build your CV. So where your mentors can help you, if you have for example, if there's a research activity in the lab going on, your professor and I definitely must say that it's their responsibility to guide you all, to assist you all through this process, and they should engage students in all those activities. If you have a grant, if a professor has a grant, why don't you call folks in, say, hey, okay, I've got some dishes to wash here in the lab, I've got some pipetting to be done, I've got some blood samples to collect, can you assist me? And that goes on your CV that you have already been exposed to research activities, and that helps you tremendously a lot. Again, to conclude this whole, a whole talk, I think you want to ask yourself before you make any move. You want to ask yourself, do you have the motivation? Do you have the patience and persistence? I did not just put these 3 words just there for fun, just by default. I'm telling you, you really need these 3 things. First of all, motivation. You can easily get demotivated after you hear a rejection. I'll tell you, before I went to USDA, not USDA, sorry, before I was offered a position with the residency program at UC Davis, I had applied in a clinical pathology program for the same university, same people, and I got a rejection twice. And then because my CV was now so built up, I had a PhD with a postdoctoral fellowship. It was a breeze. It was not a difficult task at all. But again, you will get rejections. Do not feel demotivated. It's just the opportunity that did not work for you. That does not mean you don't have the capability. So remember, believe in yourself. If we can do it, you can do it. It's not rocket science. Have patience. Again, you can't just be impatient and pick up the phone and call the professor. That's your rejection right there. Be patient, be calm, wait for your time, and it will happen. And be persistent. You got to be persistent. I'll tell you a little example of myself. I was after my BVSc, when I finished my BVSc, I wanted to go to the US. Actually, after then, I had I had motivation to just leave and get my education started in a country abroad. I got an admission at University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I had only applied to one program at that time because lack of knowledge, lack of education, again, didn't know what to do. Just went with the flow and started the process. And when I went to the visa interview in the US Embassy in Delhi, my visa was rejected. So that led to me pursuing the 2-year master's degree. But again, have faith in God. Whatever is destined will happen. You are smart. You have the capability. You can do it. And rejections come, rejections go, but rejections is not everything. You will be successful, and I tell you, I take my word for that. And if you need our assistance anywhere, all our contact numbers. We have a group among the alumni. We're starting a group together, which we will, we're in contact with your faculty members to get that process going. So we're trying to establish a platform that you can directly communicate with us, where we can help you through this process and actually mentor you right from your year one. If you are that candidate, you want to go, you have that knack, you have that burning desire, we are there to help you. With this, I think that's all I have. Please go ahead, unmute yourself, ask me any burning, desiring questions you have. I'll be more than willing and happy to answer those and talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your this was an elaborative and extensive. The guidelines, I can say that only for our students. Yes, rightly said, you need to have patience, you need to have motivation, determination, all that, that's very much needed for that. And that's where you can guide our students. And you have, in detail that you are there at our back. And I can say what a great can be for a teacher like me, that we see and we recognize our students well at those positions where they can guide now our own students. That's great for a teacher, that their students are now becoming the leaders for our students. And even for us also, you are not the inspiration for our students only, but I feel you are an inspiration to we people also. Now we are too old to do the things, but really we feel very much, very glad and pleased to see you people there achieving heights in science. And really we feel we recognize that you have said many times it's not a rocket science. So you have done it. Our people, the other students, they can do it. There's nothing wrong that. And I'm really highly thankful to you. You have spared 2 hours with us. This is a precious time in UK. For us, it can be not so precious. For you people in USA, it's too precious. And you have just sacrificed your time for our students. They must take lesson from this. They must take message home from this all, and they must develop in them some, some ideas and some, dreams they should get now. As already our one speaker said, that you must go into the bed now today, and you must think about these lectures, and then you must just wake up tomorrow with some motivation, with some ideas, with some dreams, and with some focused, focused areas, so that you can lead those. We have Professor Sejan with us here. I am very thankful to Professor Sejan also. He is with us from POR itself. Thank you, sir. So nice of you. So students, participants, if you have any query, please raise the hand so that I can unmute you. Is there any, please?
Please ask questions.
You please raise the hands. You have any queries? You have anything to interact with our speakers? Both speakers are present here. You are most welcome. Please raise the hands so that we can unmute you.
Yes. Yeah.
Is there anyone?
Yes, I think Mr. Dr. Sijan wants to ask a question. I believe he says, "Can you unmute me?"
Who is there?
I think Dr. Sijan wants
Dr.
to.
Sijan
Professor
wants to
Sijan
say
wants
something.
to-
Sure.
Yes.
Unmute, please. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Muzaffar. It was a pleasure listening to you because even I made my students to sit here and they have been listening to you. It's been a wonderful talk, like very systematically you explained. I'm sure that the people who have listened there at Kashmir it would have been a really useful lecture for them. And thank you so much for that explanation, detailed for the student requires type of openings, especially sitting at abroad, and definitely you should be an inspiration for all of them from the own state. So even my students benefited because they have been listening sitting here. So we have not left the office as of yet. So thank you, Pampuri sir, for giving me this opportunity to talk to these kids. I think we both have put forth our views and enlightened them. I'm sure that at least, if not all, at least few of them should be really gearing up for whatever we have advised to these kids. And I'm sure Dr. Muzaffar also agrees that we are here for any type of query clarification anytime. Feel free to always contact us. We'll be very happy to be a small part to put you on a track for the extraordinary career. So that's always feel free to ask. Even in my last lecture I told that, so like people can always contact me, so I'll be very happy to be of assistance to this next generation, so called, because when we want to when we want to leave the system, we want to see that with the system is in safer hands. So we need quality human resources development, and this is the idea of building the network for that for the future, for the way forward. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and thanks Dr. Muzaffar, again nice meeting you too.
Yeah, pleasure
Thank you.
meeting you anytime.
Thank you, Professor Sijan, for just being with us from 4 over here, and I salute your interest, and you have made your people in the lab to be there and to listen to our speaker Muzaffar Makhdoumi. It's really, I mean, appreciating, it's grateful. I'm really grateful to you, sir. Thank you. So nice of you, sir.
Dr. Pompuri, there's a couple questions. There's, I've got a question from.
Yes, you can. So is there any person who I can unmute?
Well, they've already put a question here. Okay. The question is, I talked about overcoming the rejections. How can a student in a vet school overcome the small failures he feels during the vet school? 2, there's a growing trend of imposter syndrome in vets. Can you tell us a little bit about it? That's a great question. It just makes me remind of when I was in a vet school. And so here's the thing, the responsibility it falls both ways. It falls on you and falls certainly on our professors that are our teachers, our inspiring faculty members there. Sometimes, unfortunately, the system does not allow, coming from a Western thought process now, it's a completely different thought process, but thinking about how our education system is structured can be varying. But I would say, believe in yourself. You may you may not be successful in achieving like an 8-point scale out of 10-point scale, but or you may even fail some subjects. It's not uncommon. People have, and but that doesn't necessarily mean you're not worth it. You may not be, take my word for this, you may not be good in that particular subject, but you may be a good surgeon, but you may be a good microbiologist. You may not be a good geneticist for that per se, or you may be an excellent geneticist, but not a good surgeon. So again, know your focus, know your skill, know your skill set that you are you have the best ability in, or you can accomplish, without any hesitation. That is the one you want to choose. I think that's believe in yourself and know that you don't need to know everything in life. Remember this thing. This sentence has a lot of meaning. You do not need to necessarily know each and everything to be successful in your life. If you remember this, it will really help you a lot. If you know some things, that's great. You're not necessarily, if you are a microbiologist or a clinician, you don't necessarily need to know what nutrition can offer. You don't need to do what microbiology bacteria do. You need to know your subject. So again, I'm trying to put things into perspective and trying to give you some motivation. Try to overcome, pray, namaz. If that's the thing, sometimes that helps to overcome all the stresses and, distract yourself from the stresses. But, I agree the trend of that imposter syndrome there, it's a psychological, mental stress, and our faculty members need to also play a role in that, in promoting students to motivating them, promoting them, and actually really helping them to be where they want, and not necessarily that somebody wants to go to US or England to pursue their career. No, if they want to stay in Kashmir or they need your guidance there, try to promote them as much as possible. And one thing I want to say, the difference I felt broadly, the education system in Kashmir and education system in America. It's a very, very different thought process. We come up with, not to, please don't take me wrong, or I'm not trying to discourage anybody here, but the trend we have, growing up, even school, I've studied in Burnhall School in Bisco, and we're not, I was always that in a fear. Oh, I'm going to get a beating from the teacher. I'm going to get a negative score on the teacher if I don't do this and that. That's the culture. Unfortunately, you are living there. You cannot change that. That's how the system is. We can't blame anybody. We didn't develop the system. It has been going on for years. But we expect that our faculty members can play a role, be a role model, and actually promote and promote a very conducive and an easy learning atmosphere for all of us, irrespective of where the person come from and what they are as an individual. Leaving that aside, the other thing, comparing the thought process here, I'll tell you, at least I'll definitely tell you what we do here. When a student comes to us or enters the veterinary school, for a professor, remember this statement: if a person fails, it's the failure of the professor. It's not failure of the student. That's the mentality the West has. If student secures 50% in a subject, the administration can actually go to the professor, say, you lack the ability to teach them. Why is this student getting low scores? So overall, the trend is that they want to promote education. They want to promote collegiality. It's pretty easy, calm conversations, communications, and help. So I hope, again, it's a system we can't change it, unfortunately, but our both sides, you as a student and our faculty, can certainly play a role to promote those favorable environments for our career building, and diminish, reduce the level of stress that our folks are going through. Again, it's not, our faculty go through a lot of stress too, not to say that, not to discourage that. So, but again, just finding ways to overcome those. I guess that's the answer I have. I'm not sure if I was, completely able to answer your question, the student that you asked, but I think these are some of my thoughts with respect to that.
It was Ayman Kamri. You can just talk to our speaker. You are free to their, yes.
Yes.
Answered my question very well. Though we cannot change the system, but at an individual level or at the teacher's level, can we do something? Like the mental health, it is now coming in trend, like we are getting aware of it. A small example I can give, like if a student is in a class and suddenly a teacher picks up a student and humiliate or kind of say something to the student, which can be a normal thing for them, but they don't know what the student is suffering from. So it can leave a deep impact on the student. So can you say something about that?
Yes, no, absolutely. I definitely agree again.
I do agree.
Yes. So, well, I'm glad that, Dr. Pumphrey, you agree with that. So I'll tell you here. I'll tell you first what we do here, and then I'll go back to the system there. But you outside of Kashmir, if I'm a faculty member teaching, even I'm in an administrative position right now, even at that level of authority, I still don't have the authority to directly humiliate somebody. I can get in trouble for that. I tell you, I have a lot of authority in the state government, but I still, with that authority, I still don't have the jurisdiction to humiliate anybody. So I am sorry that you're feeling that way. I apologize on behalf of everybody that you all are feeling that way. It should not happen. And again, it goes back to our faculty members to recognize that the way they approach students and way they approach situations might need to be a little bit different than the situations are currently being handled. And again, I agree, people can have family issues, you don't know the mental state. And of course, Kashmir in general, everything is a turmoil, and it's a difficult situation to even live conducively. So considering those, consider students as your own children and how you would approach your children. That's what I would say. It certainly needs to come from the faculty members to change their behavior when how they approach the students. I mean, I don't have much say, unfortunately, there, but I can certainly request our faculty members on behalf of all the students that please change your attitude and please change your thing. Treat them as your own children. I'm not discouraging. A lot of people do. They're extremely nice, and I have huge regards for people there. But again, there can be some challenging academics that can be difficult to handle, and I apologize for that.
Yes, I agree with this, and I again, as you have just humbled and you have just taken pardon from that, I also beg pardon over for the students. So basically, we have the system like that, and our society is something that's a very complex. The Kashmiri society itself is very complex. It's unpredictable everywhere, every day and every time. Since we are the part of the society, we cannot just brush our shoulders away. We are part of our society. Yes, definitely. We need to change our mindset. We need to change our behaviors. Not on part of the teachers, the faculty only. The students also need to just mend their ways, their behaviors. That's there. I can say it's a two-way traffic, on both the sides. And we need to change our that mindset. We need to change our behaviors and all that complex, that social complex we do have. That that needs to have a change. When it will come, I don't know. But definitely, we as parents and our children's, they do face such things in our society. Yes, we don't have that free approach with our teaching faculty, or the teachers are not so much, friendly with our students. We lack that there. That's there. I do accept that. But with these things, I think now a lot have changed, and we are in a process of change. Probably we are in a process of change. See, we are at this time on a virtual mode, okay, on online mode. Probably a few years back, there was no concept like that. Now things are changing. Probably we are now too close with our students through these online lectures, through these webinars and all that. It will take time, but I hope that our next generation, if we are not there to change, probably you are there, you do understand, and you get a change in the society. And you are there, as already the CEO has said, you are the next generation. Just forget about who. Okay, you take the lead, you change the mindset, you change the society. That's needed. That's needed. I do agree with that. But at the end, I see that both the speakers were of the common view that you should, believe in you, and you should explore yourselves. You should explore your abilities, and you should then express those, and you should then display those, and you should be committed. You should be focused, and then only you can achieve the things. And there is, I think, it's very clear that when they have achieved, why you cannot achieve. And it's clear, if you have that motivation, you have those dreams, they will come true. Definitely, you have to work hard, you have to be focused. That's very true for there. I think any other student wish to have any, any query is there? Before
There's
we
one
leave,
other question from Peace to everyone.
who is this?
So Saeed Tabinda Javed, can you please, yeah, you can
Yes,
unmute
yes,
yourself.
yes, yes. He can unmute himself. Peace. Who is there?
Peace,
Peace.
can you please, Peace, I don't know
Peace.
who
Can
that
you
person is.
unmute yourself?
And or also the Saeed Tabinda Javed, can you please unmute
Said,
yourself?
yes, yes, Said Tabinda Javed. Yes. Said Tabinda. Just a minute.
Saying, since you mentioned that it's not just the GPA that matters, but also the other activities, I would like to know what activities did you participate in that helped you to make your CV impressive, considering we don't get a lot of opportunities here. I'm not allowed to unmute. Okay.
Oh, you
All
are
right.
allowed to, yes, yes, you are. Said Tabinda, you are allowed to unmute. Just unmute yourself. Tabinda. Yes.
Well, I think
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. As I've already mentioned in the chat box, this basically was my question. Since we don't get a lot of opportunities over here with which we can exactly like improve our CV, so I was asking what exactly did you go and which procedure did you follow to make your CV a bit impressive?
Yes, that's a fantastic question, Tabinda. Great, good for good that you asked this. Again, like I said, for me, when I was doing my goal was, my focus was pretty, I knew what I wanted to do. I was pretty goal oriented, and so basically what I did, I'll tell you my personal experience. When I decided that I want to go for a master's degree and microbiology was the way to go, I met with certain professors. I said, what would you recommend me to do? How can I improve? What can I do? One of the professors, he's probably retired now. He said, if you want to go outside abroad, you will want to do something along the lines of vaccine development. Your companies can hire you outside. Your opportunities will broaden. There was a project in the microbiology laboratory there on foot rot. Professor Wani was there, and I'm very glad to see my supervisor, Dr. Ishfaq Hussain. Sir, really, really amazed to see you here. You're here, and it's an honor for me to see you on the other side of the land. But so what we did, I talked to my mentors, and I said, so I did a CET exam. I took an exam where I was actually sent to Jammu to do the Masters of Preventive, what do you call it? Preventive Veterinary Medicine, yes? Masters for that. And eventually what happened was I came back because my focus was microbiology and vaccine. And I specifically made sure that I am getting a position in that project. Otherwise, I would not do that master's degree. I would think of something else. My mentors were great. They helped me, they assisted me, and they said, that's brilliant. We can certainly put you on this project as your master's degree. Like I said, it was the first master's degree there. That was the very impactful thing on my CV. Being there, the first master's degree on foot rot and sheep. After that, I know there's PhD students that worked on the same project and things like that. But for the first time, development of vaccine-wise, it was the first one. And when I presented that to the authorities and to the program directors in the UK, it was a cakewalk. They already knew the person. They already knew who they are. There were existing collaborations again between our group and them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that assisted in that process. I had another position in the University of Nottingham, but I chose to continue the foot rot research because of my background. But in Nottingham, I got a position that was, completely a virology project that had nothing to do with bacteria. So I got an offer there based on how my CV looked. And CV was impactful because of the vaccine that I had worked on, and then the clinical trial I was involved with. So you don't necessarily need to have everything. You don't need to have all the awards. And let me tell you this, if people can vouch for that, I used to take part in all the cultural activities. if there is a music event, or if there is something going on, I would be the first one to actually leave the class and actually go, officially, not unofficially. So if there is a university cultural activity program, so I would organize that and be there, a part of the team, and actually participate in those. So I actually put those there. It reflects on you as an all-rounded individual, not just you as a lab rat, or you're there sitting in the lab and doing your work or securing high grades. They don't need people like that. Western countries, Western folks want people who is sharing, who can communicate with the team, who can be part of the team. Research, again, you remember this, we have just one focus, work, work, work. But again, there's a lot more to the life than outside of the work. So that's what the West sees, that when they hire a person, they don't want to be a grumpy person sitting in the lab. They want to hire somebody who's cheerful, who can communicate outside of the box. So those are the things, necessarily, I put on that CV there. And again, I had some, I can't remember now, I had to look back what's in there, but for my immediately going out, that was the main impact. And again, looking at, like I said, I used to give all my notes and all my books and everything to a junior, and really guide them through the path. That was like mentorship. So that's what I put there, provided education material to just guide them through this path. And we all do that. Like I said before, we have the capability. We all do that anyway. We do everything we need to. We assist people. We help people. Put there as a volunteership. We go in ambulatory clinics. That's what part of our job there. We go there, assist farmers, assist, give presentations, listen to this talk. So you can put this on a CV, listen to a career counseling talk, attended a career counseling talk on how opportunities abroad, and, contributed there and that sort. So everything counts, and we can certainly assist you in building. Like I said, we are developing a platform where we can help you all to get your CVs up to right. And if we see there's something lacking that you may actually have and you have not expressed yourself effectively, we can certainly guide you through that process. So that's what helped me. I think vaccine, I'll definitely portray that, and I'm proud that I was able to be part of that excellent team under Dr. Ishfaq Hussein's guidance. He was my first mentor, and I really thank him for spending all the time with me. I still remember I was so passionate to leave Kashmir when I was back there, and him and I used to stay in this 2010 when there was that turmoil in Kashmir, when everything was shut. And him and I used to stay, we used to be in the hostel for so long, and we would just go and meet in the lab and correct my thesis and do like that master's to get that process quickly finished. And so again, hats off to him, and thank you so much. And I'm so honored that you are here listening to me today.
So if Professor Ishfaq is there, can he unmute himself? Is it Dilruba there, or it is Ishfaq there? Who is there?
I think I see the name, so I hope that it's him.
Yes, is it Dilruba or is it Ishfaq? Can you unmute yourselves? You can unmute. There is nothing. You can unmute yourself. Dr. Ishfaq or Dr. Dilruba?
These are
Yes,
both, sir.
yes. Doctor, you are there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you have been there, and you have been, praised by one of the speakers here. So
Yes,
I
yes,
think
yes.
it is the right time. Propose thanks to your speaker, Muzaffar Makhdoumi. I am really highly
yes.
thankful to him. I am obliged. He has spared a lot of time, and now it's your time to pay gratitude to him and just say a few words. Professor Ishfaq, please.
So I first congratulate Dr. Muzaffar Makhdoumi for achieving this height in the United States of America. So I am very grateful for special mentioning for my name here. So I congratulate once again him. So that's it all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ishfaq. Again, like I said, I still remember those conversations, that the time you spent out of your family and meet me in the lab for, we would spend hours and hours in the lab to go through my thesis. So that's really, really, appreciated. And I tell this to everybody, I know we haven't been in touch for a long time. I apologize for that. There's been a lot going on in my life too. So, family wise, and then, we had all good things, alhamdulillah, thank God for everything. But I'm just saying I got really busy, so I have lost touch with all our folks. But just to one other, just for generally as one thing, you should have overall, for faculty members and for students, you should have this mentality: if you help somebody, you're doing it for for Almighty's sake. Do not expect a return, a reward right there, because I've seen that quite often happening. Oh, I helped them, and then the person brags about all throughout his life, I did this for him, I did that for him. Don't do that. That's something really you should avoid. And when you're doing it for the sake of Almighty, you're helping somebody, you don't expect a reward. There's God. You will get it one or the other way. And as long as you do it selflessly, trust me, it will come back to you. I've seen that, and I've spent hours and hours with people on the phone. Eventually, I didn't expect, and those people don't even contact me ever. And I don't have any grudges against anybody, but it helped me. God has given me so much, alhamdulillah, that I can, I'm in a position to hire people now. So, so just that, be humble, be who you are, and be nice to everyone, and fear God, fear Allah, and that's all is the key to success. Trust me.
Yes. I just recollect over here that neki kar darya mein phank. Probably that goes true. You neki kar and darya mein phank. You just don't say that you get reward from the people. You get reward from Almighty. That's it should be like that. That's good spirit here. I think we have taken much of the time of yours. Sijan has already taken leave, and he has written there in the chat. Okay, all good wishes to our speaker Muzaffar Makhdoumi. Again, we have one more. Probably her mic is not working. Hina Hamdani is there, but her mic is not working there. But he has written in his chat box lot of thanks to Professor Makhdoumi and Sijan. So all thanks from the students, they are coming in the chat box. So Muzaffar, I am really grateful to you. I am really obliged for here that you have spared much time, and we have a detailed discussion and interaction, and that was really nice to hear you and your experiences and your journey all along from SKUAST to USA. God bless you. Our good wishes, our all sincere prayers are with you, with your family. God bless you both. And you are now you have one kid also.
I've got two kids, Doctor.
Yes, now again one more. No, recently. Okay, sorry.
I have, alhamdulillah, I have a 3-year-old daughter named Alvina.
Yes.
And I have a 9-month-old daughter called Nora. So,
very good.
My wife.
God bless them all. We pray always to the Almighty Allah that for your safety and your prosperity.
Yes. So we're blessed.
Our prayers are with you. Allah आपको सलामत रखे. Allah आप सबको जो है ऊंचाइयों पे ले जाए इस दुनिया में भी और आखिरत में भी आप की जो है
Inshallah.
हो जाए.
Sir, some messages are there from Dr. Dilruba.
Okay.
Congratulations, Dr. Muzaffar, from my side also. Congratulations.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I still remember you used to cook food for Dr. Ishfaq and me when we were going through the thesis,
Nice. Yes, it's, I mean a nice interaction over here.
So thank you. I really, really appreciate you both. You're awesome people, in general, and awesome individuals, very selfless individuals. So thank you for being there for me.
So shall we leave over here? Any other student who can just, who can just take this opportunity to thank our speaker, Muzaffar? Any of the students?
Don't worry about thanks, Dr. Pompuri. Don't worry about thanks.
Any of your, participants who want to just pay homage to this noble, Muzaffar to me.
Yes, if you have any questions, I would honestly appreciate questions than praising me.
I was having one doubt. Please, You see, we have been there. Is not that BVSc degree enough just to go in the America and have the practice, veterinary practice there, or is it necessary to go for residency?
No, 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 no. That's a great question, actually. Sorry if I didn't cover this already. So BVSc is your DVM from US. If you have a DVM, that's considered a BVSc. But to be able to recognize that BVSc and evaluate it as a, considered equivalent to the DVM, you have to go through that ECFEG process that I was talking earlier, the Education Commission for Foreign Veterinary Graduates.
Right.
You can study for that at home. And we have a candidate, I can't remember his name. He's from SKUAST Jammu, and he is here. He's not among the group. He's not in touch with most of us. But I know he came out of SKUAST and he directly went to do the NAVLE exam. And NAVLE is the North American Veterinary Licensing Exam.
Yes.
And they make it sound like it's rocket science. Like I said, I have done that. I did. I'm a clinical, practicing clinician here if I want to. Now I'm with state government and administration, but I'm just saying I am practicing veterinarian license in the state of California and state of Texas. What that essentially tells you, NAVLE is not difficult. You can do it. There's resources. There's online resources, and I can guide you through that process, what you need to do. You all need to do to be able to do that. Yes, residency is not necessary. PhD is not necessary. Master's is not necessary. You can come here and practice. But again, you may have to remember this though. If you come here to practice, you need a visa to be able to, employment-based visa. So that's the routes are easy. If you're in a PhD program, then you make your way through that immigration process. And that's another challenge. I don't want to go there, but I'm just saying, you necessarily don't require all these residencies, masters, and PhD. You can directly practice after you have passed the ECFEG and NAVLE, the boards.
Thank you, doctor. Some of the participants are requesting for the email, so we will share your email with them. There's no issue. We do have
I'm going
all
to actually.
we have email. We have all contacts of the professor.
Yes.
No issue.
Actually, I just put my email out, my personal email. Unfortunately, I can't give all of you my state government.
There's no there's no problem with that. That's not the issue. You can have that from us. There's no issue.
Yes, I just put the email address there for everyone.
Okay. So you can note that email address, please. So with that, I take leave from you, Dr. Muzaffar. I feel short of words to thank you over here. Really, it was nice to hear from you. And after a very long gap, I had your glimpses over here on this screen. Good to see you. Really great to see you. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And again, I offer my thanks to everybody for taking the time to listen to me and be there as participants. And thanks again, Dr. Pampuri. It's been a great pleasure to share my experience with you. And like I said, I'm always available. Feel free to reach out if you need something, and I'll do whatever I can in my capacity. Thank you very much, and assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. God bless you. Stay safe, please.